You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the M.T.V.B. podcast, the podcast that talks about my four favourite subjects, that's movies,
TV shows,
video games,
and board games.
I'm your host, Anthony, as well as most people know me as the Ant-Man, and welcome. This week's episode, it's going to be quite an emotional episode, this one, isn't it? Thank you, Grey Fox, for picking this one. It's our top 5 movies that made us sad or slash cried, basically.
Yeah.
Emotional.
I'm joined around the table by the guys that love to talk about movies that made us cry. Introduce yourself around the table, please.
It's me, John Whiff, AK-47.
Hi guys, it's Grey Fox.
Hi guys, it's the Charm Assist.
He's back. It's so good to see you. Oh my God.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Sorry, did you say John Whiff?
John Whiff,
I like that. What happened to JK-47?
I've just added that as well.
I'm going to have to change on my sound bites now. John Whiff. I love it.
Amazing.
That's a good one, mate. I'll let you have it.
Wait, guys, wait for
guy.
it. I'm crying with laughter.
Oh, I see what you did there. I like that.
Emotional.
So guys, top 5 movies that made us sad or cry. How tough was this list for you?
Whoa, this was tough.
It was tough putting it into only 5 films.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a few tearjerkers.
Because I'm a bit of an old
Softy.
silly sod when it comes to some films.
Oh,
you know?
me too.
You know, it depends. I mean, it. You know, you might go to a film. It could even be a horror film, but something in it will trigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it might only be for a couple of seconds or a minute or whatever.
So did you cry because the movie was bad then? Isn't it half my life I'll never get back?
No. You'll see in the list. There's various reasons.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, my one's like there's been many films that made me tearjerk, but I think these one had like more significant like moments and kind of like represents my life as well, sort of thing.
Totally.
Yeah. I wonder if there's going to be any clashes. That'd be quite interesting.
I don't think so.
I think there'll be a couple, but
There might
we'll
be
see.
one or two.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm pretty sure of one of his, but
Everyone knows what mine was. Everyone knows what my number one is before we even hit record.
no spoilers.
Literally.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. You're literally seeing the M.T.V.B. crew at the most vulnerable. Right?
Yeah, well, don't forget we did
right?
the most emotional moments in video games.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
That was quite a tough
think
cookie
I-
to
that was
get
tough.
through.
That was tough.
Did I do that one?
No, you weren't on that one, no.
Yeah, that was
a good one.
There's a lump
was a
in
good
all
one,
of it. That was
yeah.
good. Yeah.
But yeah, so we thought we've done it for the video game side, like I said, so we'll do it for the movie side. It's
that's
been a
it.
while. We've been talking about this episode for quite a while, me and G.
Yeah.
I know.
I know straight away.
And then finally we were like, let's do this.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, you guys been brewing this for quite some time, right? It's good that we actually
What, like one of his farts?
Brewing it like John's mum.
Whoa!
I didn't even have the sound button ready for that either.
Get
He's
in.
fast.
So let's do the normal thing, guys. Let's have a couple of questions and do
Hi,
our
Mum.
top 5s. Oh, hang on. What?
Yeah.
I said, hi, Mum.
Oh, hi, Mum. I was hang on.
Hang on.
Hi, John's mum.
Hi, John.
Does she listen?
Hi.
No.
You should get a listen.
Right, so if a movie makes you cry,
Yeah.
does it make the movie better?
I think it.
Yeah,
Does.
I would say it does
Yeah.
because you've obviously got an emotional attachment to some part of
Exactly.
it. Then.
Yeah, it touched that part of your
Yeah.
brain that
I've
moved you, right?
if it was I guess if they make you cry, the producer or the director that made you cry, I mean, they had done that intentionally. So
Yeah.
I guess it's a tick saying,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's
You've invested your time watching the film, and they've obviously put a part in the film to draw on your senses, and they've obviously done a good job of it. Otherwise,
that's it.
Exactly.
Like there's one movie on my list where the movie was all right. It wasn't the best of movies, but it's that one like section of the movie where you watch it and you're like, oh my god, and it touches you, and all of a sudden that makes the movie somehow better. It's got all of a sudden from a Rotten Tomatoes from 33, it's gone up to like 79. In your head, it's like it's
pretty much most
gone from a 3 to a 4 sort of thing.
That's how I selected my top 5. It's not the whole film that is sad. It's like significant part of the film that's like, whoa, that kind of that's where you're like, you're trying to pretend not to cry. I'm not crying. That's not crying, man. I'm not crying, honestly. Just wiping my eyes.
Sweeping my eyes out, exactly.
I'm tired.
I've had a long day, Yeah, but definitely, I think, if it's like you said, John, if it really, if it touches on your senses, like that, if it's eliciting that kind of emotion, like, when you watch a comedy and you're laughing your asses off, right? It makes it a good movie because you remember it because it's it's affected you in the same way. If it's making you,
it's
cry,
not just visual.
That's
the thing with a movie. It's not just visual.
Yeah, it's something on the inside.
I mean, obviously, you're going to a film. You're going to watch the film, but there's more to the movie than just watching. It's how it makes you feel.
Exactly.
Like we've just said, if they've wrote it properly and the actors portrayed it properly,
and it's made you cry,
it will drag other emotions out of you.
So, exactly. I'll say good to your question. I think it makes it feel.
I think it does.
Yeah.
Well, even if the movie is like really bad, and all of a sudden the ending's like, I think about. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be the end that makes you cry. I mean, like you've said just now, Gal, that it's specific scenes that make you cry.
So one on my topic is it's an action film. It's like a revenge story. It's
don't say
spoiler.
Again, it's one of those Bollywood type films. But it's ones that I go on about. It's got movies, action, blah, blah, blah. But there's one significant bit in it that every time I watch it, and it's just like, God damn, they fucking assholes. Like, and it kind of got me, man. It's quite unique in way. Just in a short amount of time, they just make you tear up a little bit, or even like emotionally, like, oh damn, man, that hits home really hard.
Totally.
Like, it's not built up throughout the whole story, whereas some films do that to the climax, but where this is just a short segment of a part of a big film, and just it's like, oh wow, man, that's actually quite deep.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing.
So if you go to watch the movies, are you aware, depending on the movie, that this movie could potentially make you cry?
It depends on the film.
That's what I said. Yeah. Like, for example, like if you go for, like, let's just say, for example, you go to watch a war movie. And obviously war is emotional on so many levels to depending on the situation. Do you think, like, all right, I'm going to go watch a war movie, there could be like, there might be a scene in here that could potentially make me cry or make me quite sad or something, or an emotional wreck even.
I
don't know. I mean, I think all.
I mean, I was like that with the new Star Wars trilogy. I knew which one was going to make me cry because it's so bad.
No, I think the films I think on my list, I don't think one of them I knew going in. I knew something about it.
Is it in your list?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, and I expected that part to draw that emotion, and it did.
Yeah.
The others, I think, I just went to go and see them. I wasn't expecting that to tear up at those particular moments in those films.
Okay.
Yeah. That's quite interesting, and because that kind of relates, because there's a movie I put in my list and took out. That film is not necessarily a sad film. It's more of a couple film, like they
like a rom-com.
Rom-com.
Kind of that. Yeah,
but it's sad in a way because they don't get together.
Yeah,
but it hits me home because it kind of relates to my previous person I liked, and
that was something I was going to come to.
So that's that's quite an interesting question. So
there's a film on my list and section of it that made me cry has happened to me in real life, so that drew that emotion out. But I wasn't expecting that to be in the film. it was like when I got to it, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh wow!
And it just teared up.
Yeah.
Because I've been where
Through
they
that,
were.
It's quite
So,
it's how weird like that film's got nothing to do with sadness, but because of your experience, and you see that film, or you might even see that song or the soundtrack of that film, and you're like, that you just quickly relive that whole moment of your life for like a split second, or maybe even when you rewatch that film, or when you just listen to that particular song. It's quite amazing. That's a good question.
It's really good.
Very good. Have you ever watched a movie, like, I don't know, kids, young adult, whatever you want to call it, and not had any emotion to it, but then you've gone back and read between the lines and gone, oh, that's actually quite deep and makes you feel quite emotional?
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'll say one of mine is a movie, Steven Spielberg's AI.
Oh, right. I know of it,
I liked the movie when it came out, but I don't think the ending ever hit me until I became more of a dad.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you watched it again.
You know the premise of the film, right?
AI.
About the boy robot. It's kind of like Pinocchio. He wants to be a real boy.
Yeah.
Turns out he'll never be a real boy, but when he dies in his mother's arms like he wanted to, because he didn't get to do it when she was alive, it just like, I didn't see it that way as a young person.
No, that's actually...
But then when I was older, I was like, oh, man... It's got me,
absolutely.
So, have you ever had an experience like that? Or like, it could be like a kids' film or something like, I don't know, whatever. Have you ever had that sort of feeling with the movie before?
One of my, it's not in my top 5. It was and took it out, so it's going to be an honourable mention. But there was a scene of that in there. I remember watching the film. Didn't take an awful lot of notice of a certain thing that happened in it. Yeah. But then, like you say, you think back and you think, oh shit, hang on a minute, and then you realise there was more, and it was deeper than what you thought. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's one in my list, similar. It, as a kid, it's quite sad, that moment, but as an adult, when you watch it, it's still sad, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like that particular scene, it still gets me. No, I don't know, because now I'm at that stage, and I don't know. I can't explain it.
I think so.
Explain it when you get to it. That'd be easier.
I think some scenes is like you say. You watch a film as a single person.
Yeah.
And a relationship, emotional scene will come on, but you haven't been there, so you don't quite get it.
Right.
But then you like watch it again later on with a partner, and now all of a sudden that scene makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally. But it's also the same. It's like Ant said,
right.
you could watch a film and something could happen in it, and it's not until you're married later on in life and have kids that thing that starts to come back.
Absolutely.
So, I totally get what he's saying.
You're right. I mean, this is gonna sound really silly, right? But I remember the first time when I watched, it's like a movie you'd never think of that would it didn't make me cry, but you felt a bit of like what Anne said. It was more like, okay, my reaction was this. It was like, oh wow, okay, and I just moved on in my life. It was fine, right? But Kill Bill, right? Okay, because we're watching it, and the first time Gal showed me this, he was like, you need to watch this movie, man. Tarantino is probably his best thing ever. Yeah. And for me, it was like blood and gore and stuff. Part 2, I was like, that movie is shit. There was nothing compared to the first part, right? Then I watched it again and I was like, whoa. Yeah. She was going after the daughter. She was literally going after, spoiler alert, like, babe, like, Beatrice, right? Yeah. And when you see that bit at the end and she's like, the little girl's like, shut me, daddy, like that. It's that one line when you're like, oh my God, I haven't got a daughter, but I've got like younger nieces and I see that, and it's the way that she's come all this way and she's crying because she's seen her daughter for the first time.
Because she didn't realise her daughter was alive then, did she?
Absolutely. And you think, whoa, behind all this like this crazy revenge. Black comedy, it's like revenge in it, but there's something.
There's another story running there.
Undercurrent underneath, and every parent can relate to that.
So that's where the genius of the director or whatever
comes out,
or even the writer of the script.
Yeah. It's brilliant. Yeah, I remember watching that again and thinking, part 2 is now probably better than part 1 for me, but it's kind of like because of that is that one emotional scene, right? Something like that.
It's weird when you say stuff like that because a lot of people that think it was crap back then go back and like it now. Like Major Tree, for example, people go back and say they like that now. I fucking hated Kill Bill Part 2, but I love it now. It's weird, isn't it?
It's weird, right?
You just look at it differently.
Yeah, exactly. I remember watching it again. Oh, he killed it, man. He could have put more, like, they could have had that
more action then. More action. Like, oh, wait, hang on. Now you're older, like, damn.
More sword fighting at the end in that villa, but it made sense. It had to be done like that.
It's like, I'm going to mention, this film's not in my list, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Schindler's List.
Oh, for fuck's sake! No, I'm joking.
No, totally, dude.
Schindler's List,
Yeah,
right?
that
filmed in black and white.
Yeah.
The only colour in it is this little girl with a red coat.
Oh my god.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then later
Wow.
on in the film, you see the red coat cast aside. So that makes you think what's happened to the little girl.
Shit,
right?
I didn't notice that.
A couple of years after that, I got married, and I've got my own little daughter, and a couple of friends of mine. She was only a tiny baby then. A couple of friends of mine and myself, we went up to the War Museum in London. And they had a Holocaust.
Bought a red coat, didn't they?
And they had a Holocaust exhibition on.
Yeah.
And walked all around, see all the little bits, and there was one section where they had like big glass cases with all the shoes, and another one had all the clothes and stuff like that. And then this big picture beside all the clothes was this red coat.
Oh no!
And I had to walk out. I couldn't
much.
go and watch the rest of the look at the rest of the exhibition. I came
He's
out,
a big softie,
and my two friends came out after me, and they said, "You're right. You're feeling sick." I went, "No, I just can't look. I can't see any more of it."
Yeah.
Because I was now a dad and had a little girl on my own, and the mind relates to it now.
Yeah.
Yet I'd seen the film years before and didn't think anything of it, really.
Of course.
That's quite deep, man, yeah.
Hey.
But that's what I'm saying.
Before,
sometimes a second watch of something will bring something else back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like certain things just re-evokes those emotions on certain thing. Then and exactly what you said, Goku, was like certain stages of your life, you watch these things, you won't understand it until you experience it and you go back and watch and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's a mind blower as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. It makes it better.
Yeah.
It
does.
It does. I think it does. It was a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to continue from what you've just said there, John, with the next question. So, when a movie makes you cry, it must hit you on an emotional level. So what sort of thing must happen on that screen to make you feel like that?
Yeah. I think it was the fact that it's a war film, and war could happen at any time. And it's a little kid with no parents, and it's like, so what would happen? So your brain starts thinking. So if I wasn't around and something happened, what would how would my daughter cope at that age? She was only like that kid was only about 5
so
or
more
6,
the child side than the war side to it, or
it's a bit of both, I think.
Yeah,
because that's where. Because everyone says, "Oh, war is evil." I'm like, yeah, it is evil, and you think, and then you move on to the next subject, sort of thing. But when you see something in that point, like say, from a dad's point of view of a child, it does put it into a whole new perspective, really.
Yeah, totally.
Like I say, I couldn't. I'm still to this day, I don't know what the rest of the exhibition was like. I just couldn't watch it.
On that point, I think I must have said to you before, or maybe even on the podcast. Jay's brother Jiggy, he used to be like he couldn't watch anything if anything happened to a child in a film, he had to walk away. I used to cuss him for it. I used to be like, "Oh, you big wuss, blah blah blah." Obviously, I hadn't had a child. Ever since I had my daughters, I you know this as well. I can't watch anything as well. It's funny how that's reversed. And I totally understand that now. It's just like how John was saying. It's like it's almost like some sort of, say if I hear something, even hear or even watch something, I don't know what it is. It's like this sort of thing that I put my daughters in. Say the film has a daughter kidnapped or something. I'll put my daughter in there, and I'm like, oh man, like I got. It gives me like a few seconds to come out of it. I'm like, fuck, I got like switch off for a bit.
Totally, yeah.
But those things.
I think it's a bit like we're quite invested in because obviously we do this podcast, but we're quite invested in TV shows and movies and video games. So you kind of get invested in these things. I mean, you're not just going to pick up any old game. You're going to pick up a game you've got an interest in. You're not going to go and watch any old movie. You're going to go and watch a movie that you want to see for whatever the reason may be. And then, so yes, certain like we've just said, sometimes a second watch is needed. It's strange, really. It's like we've just said. Sometimes it may not just be a kid's thing. It could be I don't know. It could be an animal. It could be anything. It could be anything that would happen. It would
something you've experienced, even.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
For me, it's experience or children or even like family, anything like that. It just could.
Gets to you,
And I'm like, I straight away just go lean back a little bit because I'm usually watching it with my family or I kind of lean back and I'm just like. I won't like,
that's one of those occasions where he's not asleep.
Yeah.
During a film.
Right, so maybe not so much as what's on the screen. That's what happens. Do certain other things trigger your emotion, like music, for example?
Oh, totally,
yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
There's some scenes. In fact, you say that, and like I was thinking about this today. The one movie that was on my list, and I thought if I didn't see that, if I didn't listen to that without the music, it would not trigger the same emotion. And I'll give you a little clue. Like recently, me and Anna, we went to a string quartet for movie soundtracks, right?
Okay,
nice.
And they played a song by Hans Zimmer. I'm not going to spoil it, but when they played that, dude, I was getting emotional. Yeah. Literally like that. I had to hold her hand. I was like, there's something about this song which was so, it hit you. And there's a few other people you can tell just by their body movements. There was something about it. And you think, if I didn't see that without the sound, it would have not been the same experience. And it's like you said, Anne, like there's sometimes like, the music does actually
playing your emotion.
Put the emotion in it.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling. It's a really nice, natural feeling. At the same time, it's like, wow, how is it that a sound can...
In a way, it's almost like
right?
beautiful, and it depends on the scenes, obviously, but...
Right, exactly.
Like, I'm picturing what you
It's a memory,
yeah, it's a memory. I'm going to swear, it's actually like... No, I'm going to swear, it's Gladiator. It's a song called Gladiator, That's what that's something about that song when you hear her singing, and the last scene with the hay and stuff.
Damn, I forgot about that film, but
Oh, my goodness. That's like, okay...
It's like because I grew up in the 80s, so and obviously I love my 80s music. So if I watch it, I can be. It doesn't matter what the film subject is.
Yeah.
I can be watching any film and I can be into it and I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it. But if it has an 80s soundtrack here and there, I perk up because I'm thinking, God, what I remember when I first heard that song, and it does make you sort of like smile and you kind of like listen maybe a bit more to the film or whatever. But just the music alone can trigger emotions as well as 100%. Whatever you're visually seeing,
Totally.
I mean, we watched that. Me and Ant have watched these like 80s horror films and stuff, like In Search of Darkness. We're on our third or fourth one now, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so of course there's lots of 80s music and stuff playing through some of them.
Yeah.
They're freaking amazing. It just takes me straight back.
Yeah, 100%. That's a good question, Anne. Yeah, I mean, music.
This is going to be fun.
It's going to be a good episode.
Yeah. So one last one before we tear up. Kind of the same question as question 3. Like, will you go back and rewatch it? Do you have the same effect? Do you still get teared up by it? Like, for example, Bambi's mum dying or something. Like, okay, so this part's coming up. Do you sit for it and not cry, or do you still cry over it? You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah. Even though you've watched it 10 times,
I think it depends. I mean, it's like my number one. I had a whole load of films, and my number one I picked straight away. As soon as I was starting to think of this list, my number one came to me, and it's not changed, so it stayed where it was. Yep. And I watched the trailer for it earlier. And I couldn't watch it.
Wow.
So it does still, even though, like you say, I've seen the film a few times, I know what's going to happen.
We're going to have to make John go last on this one.
It's my number one for a reason, and I still couldn't watch the trailer for it.
Oh, wow. That's good. I mean, for me, like, maybe one or two of my list, if I rewatched it, I'll probably tear up just a little bit, but... Not so.
It's on his list, dude.
I
got you.
I don't think there's only one that I think, but the rest are no.
I think it depends. Like like some of them, I think it does get maybe a bit less.
He's looking at me like, you bastard.
No, it's not.
I reckon you two have got. Maybe
I've definitely got one of his. Sorry, Karen. Go cool. Yeah. Do you have that situation at all? Or?
Well, certainly there's movies on my list where when I watch it again and again, it's coming, but it's still you can't stop.
Still hits you.
His voice is breaking.
There's so many. There's
probably some I've missed, and but
oh god, yeah.
I've just gone on like personal like.
That's fine. I mean, we can throw in honorable mentions at the end, like we normally do.
I guarantee when you mention, I'm going to be, oh fuck! But
I think there's going to be a lot of that.
Let me just write it down quickly before I forget, because if I forget, I'll be like,
I've got a certain film that I'm pretty sure he's going to put down, but we'll see
for sure. Realise that.
Are we ready for this?
Yeah, it's gone.
It's going to be a roller coaster.
I'm not going to tear up.
Absolutely.
Right, let's do the top 5s then, guys.
It's time for a top 5.
So obviously, you know the rules, guys, for people to listen. If we don't mention your film, bollocks to you. Get your own fucking podcast. Number 5.
Number 5.
Right, so we're going to let John go last. Right. So shall we go me first and go around? Or do you want to do it?
Yeah,
no, you go.
Yeah, go on.
You want to go first?
Okay, I'll go.
Go on.
We'll go around to this way, and then we'll go around to John last because his number one's been hyped up on the questions now. So
and I don't think you're going to like my number 5 anyway. But hey,
well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
we don't discriminate here, unless it's one of the newer Star Wars films. Go on. Oh, hang on. Before you start, let's start off lighter, okay? Yeah. So that Hans Zimmer concert you went to, I take it there's no Christopher Nolan films in that one.
Spoiler!
They tried to do it on the string chords. It didn't sound. Yeah.
Gay Fox, number 5.
Grey Fox.
Grey Fox. Dirty Grey
Fox, yeah. So my number 5 is Toy Story 3.
There's an honourable mention for me,
My honourable mention
absolutely,
as well.
mate. Absolutely.
I think I think it came out a bit too late.
Right, so when we talk about the movie, shall we say what part it is that does it
There's
as well?
2 parts.
Yes. Right, so let's do that then as well,
Right, okay, so everyone knows about Toy Story, but for me particularly,
I'm not going to be going into detail.
When I first watched the film, there was a part where the toys are in some sort of like furnace.
Yeah.
And they're holding hands, and it looks like they're
about to die.
I honestly thought they were going to kill him off.
So Disney, dude, they weren't going to do that.
You never know. Or someone was going to go. Like I thought Woody was going to go or something. Like that was quite emotional. And oh god, man, that's how these toys. They're my fucking toys.
It's like the end of Infinity War when they killed off all the heroes, and they're like, oh my god, Spider-Man is like he's coming back. Come on,
it came out when I was still. I think I was. It came out? When did it come out?
2010 it came out.
Yeah, so I'm fairly still. But can you imagine when it came out as your...
Was you 10 when it came out?
No. But when you're a lot younger, that would be
emotional.
Deep. But then again, it has that reverse effect of obviously the second... I'll talk about the second situations where Andy's finally given... he's given up his toys and Woody.
That was sad.
That was
he wasn't meant to give Woody.
That was so sad.
He wasn't meant to give Woody, but it was in the box and it was a choice, and he decides to give Woody away as well.
And then she says, "My cowboy," and that's why he's like, "I've got to give it to her now." Isn't it? Yeah.
That was my moment.
Because he looks at the toy and he looks at her.
Yeah,
and it's that eye movement. Yeah, and just like that's what. It's like,
and it's beautifully done. Again, it had. Does it play? You have that friend music in as well,
but in a very subtle,
way.
Kind of way.
Again, I didn't tear up, but I felt of like. Kind of like the same feeling I had when the chapter, and I'll keep going on about that, when Harry Potter finished. Yeah. It was the same exact feeling, like I've grown up, I've finished this. This is it. There's no more.
No,
like, and you felt you're done with this chapter. You're not going to see these group of characters again.
Yeah,
almost like emptiness, like after that it finishes. Obviously, done. Like you grew up.
You got to the end of Lord of the Rings, you're like, "Fuck, man,
it's over."
Yes,
like, I hate that weird empty feeling when something finishes. Like you just, what now?
What now?
Yeah,
there's nothing.
See, with me,
do you know what I'm saying? There's like nothing to look forward to, or like,
fuck, I should have put that in my top 5. Return the King should be in my top 5. Damn it, go on, carry on. Sorry.
But I think everyone who's watched it, I think even John, that specific moment, it does hit home.
Absolutely,
especially if you've got kids who've got toys and they've had a toy since they were a baby.
Yeah.
This is why it hit me, because obviously when my daughter was born, we gave her some toys, and an aunt and a few other people gave her some toys, and as she got older, she discarded the toys because they were no longer of any interest to her. Sort of, because a child's mind, they grow up, they're growing old, they're the same as us. They're getting older and older, and they get a bit wiser, and they don't need their toys anymore. And that is very, very sad.
Yeah.
But the one good thing with it is my daughter is 19 this year and still has one of the toys she was given when she was a baby. She will not part with it.
She kept it.
She's still got it. We've even given him different clothing over the years because she's worn him out. He's in her bed every night with her.
It's cute,
So it's that little thing. It is an emotional tug on on your
See,
heart.
for your point of view, it hits like that. For me, it's more of Andy's side because I feel like I've been with those toys and I've grown up.
That's how I saw it as well. I saw it from both sides.
That's interesting.
That's so true. You know, it's like you said, Gal. Like that's a 15-year journey, isn't it? From the moment you saw the toys right to the end, and he gives the toys away, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
But
Andy
you do,
and Woody as well.
Exactly.
But you do though.
Yes.
You know, do you still have the toys you had when you were a tiny baby? No, I don't think you do.
I have a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
No, I don't.
I don't think I've got any.
But again, going back to your question, would it been the same if did they not trigger that music?
The music.
Do you know what I'm saying? That,
Oh,
oh my god, that music.
I think it would, but not as much.
Not as much.
Yeah.
I reckon it had. Kind of elevates
I think
a
the
little
music
bit.
plays more than you think.
It kind of plays because that's the intro music for the first movie, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And you hear it subtly in the background. You're like, oh my god, that kind of evokes
this is where the human brain.
Yeah. Guys, I'll tell you something really this is interesting. Okay, I'm going to sound really geeky here.
Yep.
You know, like, did you know?
Did you know? This is our new bit.
So did you know? So basically, there's been research and really quickly, I'll just sum it up into people who have dementia and stuff. And towards the end of it, they can't remember anything. But when they play a sound,
or a photo, even anything,
from when they were growing up, they start moving. Yeah. Like they move because there's something. It's a synapse, automatic response that makes them move because it's triggers in their brain. So it's funny how you say about the music because it's literally doing that to your emotion because it takes you back to when you were young and all of a sudden it's like that moment, you know. So maybe they just do that. They do it on purpose. It's probably
of course
psychological.
They're not
great.
silly,
like,
but it's a very very good tool.
It's a good tool to use. It's the same sort of thing. Yeah. Does that.
Yeah, that was my number 5.
That was your number 5. Come on.
But before we move on,
right.
So, question for you.
Right.
The first Toy Story, what is the first opening shot of that film?
The Army Men.
No. What was the first thing you see?
Oh, the clouds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. So, did you know that at the end of Toy Story 3, when it pans up to the clouds, it is the exact same clouds in the exact same position of the first shot from Toy Story 1. Yeah.
Serious?
But with real clouds.
Oh, sick.
So, yeah.
It should have ended there. Honestly, it should have.
It should. But then, you know.
Yeah, more money.
Disney
more
get
money.
involved. They want more money.
That's all it is, mate.
Money.
Exactly.
But I'm glad that was finished. That was my story with my toys. That's what I felt like. So I thank Disney for that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good ride, Disney, while it lasted. Anyway.
Yeah, that's good.
Good pick, sir. Good call. Number 5.
Right, my number 5 is a tough one. I think I brought this in, brought it back out. It's £7 with Will Smith.
Will Smith.
We don't know this.
Oh my god, yeah.
I've only seen it once. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
I'm quite surprised you put that over Pursuit of Happiness.
I thought you were gonna.
Might be in the list too.
Might be in the list, yeah.
Top 5 Will Smith movies on the list.
The guy that slapped Chris Rock.
I actually did think that. I was like, this is the guy.
Slap
all that emotion coming up.
Slap us Smith.
So why £7, sir?
So £7. You know, the first time I watched this movie, I remember watching the trailer because I love all of Will Smith's movies, you know, like to see it. And when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, there's more to this. They didn't reveal too much of it. But, you know, the story is that it's a guy, you know, without spoiling it, it's like a guy who had it all, successcar life.
I think it's like over 10 years. You can spoil it if you want.
Yeah? Okay. So he's like, he's a guy who designs cars. Mm-hmm. He's a, car fabricator. So good in his field, like designing. Actually, no, I tell you what, I think he's an aerospace engineer. That's it. So, to do with airplanes and rockets or whatever, So, living the most successful life. And one day he's driving with his wife, has a car crash, and then she dies. And do you know what? I'm trying to think. Okay, then after that, I think he's going through obviously a bit of depression and is sad and all this and all that. And basically, he knows he's going to pass away, So what he does is £7, I think, is in reference to the organs.
How much his taxi fare was?
It's super fair. Moody. Yeah, it's like to do. I think it's the weight of all the organs in the body if you put it on and stuff, or the idea that he meets these people along the way, right? And there's a section where he calls up a call center person calls him up, and he, like the annoying phone call, and they're trying to sell you something, And it's Woody Allen who plays his character who's blind. He doesn't realize that. But then he realizes that and he still grills him and he takes the piss out of him. He's like, oh, is it because you're blind, you can't see and all this and all that? So he's hurt all these people in his life. And he basically, long story short, he kills himself by submerging himself into jellyfish in a bathtub in a motel. And he donates parts of his body to those people that he's upset or thinks that they deserve it.
Right.
And it's the way it's done. When you see after he passes away, like the people that it's changed, especially Woody Allen's character, the fact that he gives his eyes, Will Smith gives his eyes to him to help him see again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's amazing. And the lengths that he goes to try and help these people. He donates his heart to Rosario Dawson's character, who he kind of falls in love with, and, he realizes, okay, it's all coming back now. It's all coming back. Basically, she's the crux of the story. So she needs a heart transplant. She has, a condition where she needs a heart, a specific heart donor. Happens to be Will Smith's, and he's like, okay, the only way I can save her is if I end myself. So he does that, but in that process, he ends up donating his other body parts to everyone else. So he saves her life and saves Woody Harrison's life. Woody Allen's life. Sorry,
is it Woody Allen or Woody Harrison? Which one?
I think it's Harrison. Sorry,
it can't be Woody Allen because Woody Allen's.
Yeah, it's Woody Harrison. Sorry, Woody Harrison.
I don't know. I've only seen the movie once. I can't remember.
That's it. And so a few other people, and at the end, he kind of brings them all together. And they're all at this kind of like concert. It's him playing the piano, and he's able to see and all this and all that, and it's just really emotional. Okay. So when you watch that, first time I watched it, this is the thing. It didn't really touch me, but the second time when I watched it after a few years, it started playing on the heartstrings. It's like, whoa, this is really deep. Like, this is someone, it's about sacrifice. It's someone who's like sacrificing, like himself to save others.
Well, he's at the point of going to die, but he kind of donates it. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And he does that. Well, the thing is, he's alive, but then I was saying earlier, he realizes that he needs to do this in order to save his love. So he kills himself to save her and to save everyone around him as well. So it's pretty awesome the way it's done. But yeah, really good. Really good. So I watched that and I was like, again, it wasn't like tears, but when you watch it, you're like, you get...
Still hit you though, on an emotional level, yeah.
Yeah, it makes you feel great about... it's one of those movies when you come out and you feel good about...
Yeah.
Does it hit you harder than Will Smith hitting you, or... Damn, I'm so good.
That was really good.
Just keep his wife's name out your mouth, all right? Jesus Christ.
My goddamn wife.
Yeah, do not say the name of my goddamn wife. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, but yeah. £7.
I haven't seen it, so I couldn't. So I need to see it.
You have to watch it. Yeah.
I was saying, when you said Woody Allen, I'm like, is it Woody Allen?
It's Woody Harrelson.
It is Harrison.
It's Harrison.
Yeah, good pick, sir. Good pick.
Thank you.
I see you got your tissue ready, Ian.
Oh!
This is a cum rack, mate. No, my number 5. We're going to stick with Disney.
Oh.
And it's going to be Loto Mama Coco.
Nice.
Oh, great movie.
One of my favourite Pixar movies ever.
Yes.
I love this film because of the message it sends to people.
Mexican one.
Yes, Mexican. Why they celebrate Day of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
brilliant
it's
film.
all about family.
Beautiful.
Never forget your family. Regardless of afterlife or in your life at the moment, don't ever forget your family.
Yeah.
That's essentially the main part of this story. And why the Mexicans celebrate Day of the Dead. But the reason I put this in here is the one specific scene at the end. Now, unfortunately, when we watched this, my wife's mother had just not long passed away, like a week or two beforehand. And we'd never seen this film. And we saw it at home. And I'm not. Don't get you
got this.
So anyway, so I said my wife's mother had died, and my children were very young. They were quite babies at the time, and we sat and watched it. I remember my wife holding my youngest in her arms at the time, and there's the very part of the end. I'll spoil it because people, it's gone nearly 10 years since this film came out. There's a part where Mama Coco is basically the old granny of the family, and she's very old. She needs to remember a certain someone in the afterlife so they can survive in the afterlife. That's how it works. You have to remember your families to do it. And in the end, the little boy sings to Mama Coco the song that her husband used to sing to her. And it's Remember Me. Remember Me.
Yeah.
And my wife just snapped and like just looked at my little one in her arms and just bawled out crying. And I didn't cry because of that. I cried because of that.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't cry because of the film. I cried because of the situation it put me in.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have put her through that if I knew that was the case.
Yeah.
But then my eldest saw my wife crying, and she all cried, and we all cried, and we all came together as a family. And as the film worked, providing the situation we were all in at the time, that we just lost a loved one, it all brought us together at that moment, and we all cried.
And the film was the catalyst.
Yeah,
beautiful.
And my eldest still doesn't forget her nan to this day because of that.
Yeah.
Because of that.
That's amazing.
Because that moment there.
So sick.
Good.
So that's why Coco has to go in there. But it's a fantastic, like I said, it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite. It's probably my second favorite Pixar movie of all time.
Yeah.
My number one has a sad moment, but I didn't put it in the list, which is weird. It's so weird. I didn't put it in there.
Yeah.
But no, I can't deny Coco. Fantastic film. And just, folks, like I said, the message out there, don't ever forget your family. Dead or alive, never ever forget them.
Absolutely.
John, number 5.
Let's get this over with. My number 5 is Top Gun Maverick.
Really?
Nice.
That's the newest one.
All right.
Okay.
But simply because, I love the film anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I know certain people didn't like it, but I really enjoyed it.
It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, and the first one was just as good as far as I was concerned. But I grew up in the 80s when that first came out and so on. So I have had and I've always been interested in aeroplanes and stuff. Obviously, I work in an airport still and stuff. So the interest is there.
Yeah.
So I knew going into the film about Val Kilmer's illness.
Okay.
So and the fact
It's cancer, throat cancer, isn't it?
Cancer, yeah.
Throat
So
cancer.
they wrote his character back in, Iceman.
Yeah.
With throat cancer. And they worked the scenes around him, so because of his illness, he couldn't speak much, and it obviously hurt to talk, and he was constantly wiping stuff away from his mouth, which is why you see him in the film with the scarves and things wrapped around him and stuff. He's kind of like hiding his face, his chin, and his neck a little bit.
I thought so, because I was thinking, was he?
So
Go on, John, sorry.
So when in the film when he because there's references to him in the beginning of the film, and it's when they meet up that really sort of got me, because now you actually see him. And it's like you've grown up from the first film into this. It took 20 odd years, or was it 30 odd years or something? How long was it?
Well, between sequels?
Yeah,
like 30 odd years.
36 years or some bloody thing, something weird like that. Oh. So to see the two characters who obviously started off as rivals in the first film, and now they're obviously best buddies at the end of it, and you see the two of them meet, and of course Val Kilmer's character has gone on to become like an admiral in the Air Force, whereas Tom Cruise's character is still like a captain. He's not, because his attitude's not got him anywhere. Yeah. So it was kind of nice to see the relationship was still there between these two guys. And apparently, I was reading afterwards that apparently Tom Cruise cried for hours when he heard about his friend Val Kilmer's illness. Yeah. And so to meet together and work together on that film, I just think an awful lot was put in place for that.
Brilliant.
And so it's a silly moment, but it kind of got me.
Yeah,
which is why I put it in as number 5, because it's lower down.
But then, just to say, you've got a deep feeling for those characters. That's why I hate you.
Like I grew up with them. I've always been interested in it. I've seen the first one several times. The second one, I'm going to watch it again. Probably might watch it tonight when I go home.
It's a brilliant movie.
But yeah, I really, really enjoyed that film. And the story was irrelevant in a sense, because it's very similar to the first film in
with a Star Wars ending.
But yeah, so that was literally, yeah. So that was my that's my.
But
it's really good.
Did you know?
Go on. Come on.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
But did you know he was originally written out of that movie? He wasn't actually meant to be in it. Full
Val
stop.
Kilmer?
Yeah. And then Tom Cruise was like, "No, I want him,
exactly.
regardless if it's just a cameo. I want him in."
Said, exactly. Yeah. That's why they worked with him. It
would have been so cool if he was like, "You can be my wingman."
But to be fair, they very nearly did. They very nearly did do that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at your moment there. I'm so sorry.
No, because that's where the emotional attachment got me, because that's kind of how he does talk normally now.
Yeah, that's how
he presses something in against his throat, but he didn't do that in the film.
Oh, wow.
So the level of pain he must have been going through
to do that
in the film. It just brings that part for me to another level.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what got me. That was my emotional part of that film.
Yeah.
Nice. We're doing pretty well, guys. Let's move to number 4.
Let's move on.
Number 4.
No one's shed any tears just yet. We're doing well, guys. We're doing well.
Number 1 might be different.
Back to Gal.
My one is the film called Terry, and it's a Bollywood one. I was talking about. It's a typical revenge.
Go, call number 4.
I just do a run story of it. Basically, he's a police officer, and he stops a bad guy, and then he's in hiding for so many years, and he comes back, sort of thing. That's the whole overall story. And this particular scene is actually a good action film, to be honest. Almost like a revenge-ish film. But this particular segment of the film is in the beginning of the film, and it's just like a part of his. He's a police officer, and he's a part of his investigation that he deals with before he encounters and messes with the wrong sort of bad guy that kind of ends up killing his family, and then he goes into hiding with his daughter. So this basic story kind of hit me 2 times. So that so it's actually quite a nasty little like story. So what happens is this person gets found laying naked near a river, and they investigate, find out that she was brutally raped, and so many nasty things happened to her, and it's uncovered by him like investigating it and stuff. And what's happened was one of the town mayor's son and his friends have raped her, and they've done that nasty thing. Like, in order to cover their tracks, they kind of I can't remember they put a pole up down her thing, like a hot iron rod to eradicate like any like evidence and stuff.
In a panani.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I'll tell you why it's like. So as I'm watching it, and there's the father there as well. He's a father of 3 daughters, and that was one of them, an eldest, and she was the one that was supporting the family. And obviously he's there at the whole thing, and they're trying to get a confession from her because they can tell she was going to die. So the way she speaks to the police officer is like almost like a brother sort of thing.
She speaks to Terry.
Huh?
She speaks to Terry.
So
is that his name?
No, it's kind of not, but it's sort of like a slang word for something almost like hot stuff. So I can't explain it. It's
okay.
But it's like a nickname for him. But anyway, and that is quite emotional. And his father's there, and then she passes away after giving the confession. And then obviously the guy who done it, it gets away with it essentially because he's a higher up guy. His dad's a mayor and that corrupt politician, and he gets away with it. And one thing that got me straight away is like, because he was trying his best to find the guy, and the dad obviously he goes to the funeral, and the dad is with his 2 daughters, and he just goes, and I just translate it, goes, "Is that it? That's it. That's all. That's all you can do." No, as in, how can I say it? I'm trying to find a way to translate it. That's it, right? You can't do anything.
Okay.
I've got 2 more daughters. I can't do anything. But if you really
like, what do you want me to do? Is that it? That's it.
No, in a way, like saying that's all you could do, isn't it? Like, not in a bad way, to say that's it. That's saying those guys are getting away with it. I can't do anything because look at me. I'm an old guy. I got 2 daughters. I can't chase these guys. I'm helpless, basically.
Yeah.
And then that kind of the way he says it in my language, I was just like, damn, man. Like, it gets me everything. That whole segment up until that bit always gets me.
It's quite real to real life as well.
Yeah,
right?
it's like it's a poor old guy. He's like, he's a late. If you look at him, he can't do anything. He's got 2 daughters. He's not going to go around chasing this guy. No. Yeah. He's just got away with. The guy just got away with it. And he can't do anything. And what ends up happening is he finds him and beats the shit out of him. Does exactly the same thing to him, and he ties him up and stuff. And that's why he gets in trouble later. But that segment hits me twice because I watched it again, and as I was watching before that scene comes up, and I was like, "Oh man, this bit is really sad, isn't it?" I can't remember who was watching it with. I think it was Jade, and he goes, "Did you know?"
Hang on, you're meant to do the symbol beforehand.
Sorry, no. Did you know It's not funny.
You're meant to do that before Ed.
It's not actually funny because it was based on a true story, that segment, apparently.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Is this what happened in India?
It is India,
on the bus?
Yeah.
with
I think it's based on that one or another one. I can't remember. But yeah, and I was just sitting there just finding out that it was real, and then go through that whole scene again, because you can watch that film essentially not because of that particular scene, but it's almost like a roller coaster ride. It's really good entertainment. But that hit me every time. When that old man says, "That's it, right?" Like it's even now thinking about it, I just like damn, like you can't. It was almost like him taking on a corporate guy. He can't do anything. That's almost a symbolic of life. I think.
Yeah.
Just the guy who's got money is going to get away with it. You just
top fish.
you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets me every time.
Very true to home, really, isn't it? It's like,
as a father as well. It's like,
the realization the bad guys can win in the end of the day, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
quite sad, but
Yeah. Very cool.
Can I just say, like, you can the users can probably listen to the rain and the wind outside.
Yeah, it's the second time it's happened whilst recording. Every time I need to record it pisses down with rain.
I think it's great. It adds to the ambiance, right? It's just
the
like
sadness of the show.
Sadness of the
but
show.
the clouds are crying with us.
Yeah, because you hear other podcasts and you put like sound effects in the background. This is real, man. Like M.T.V.B, we do this shit.
Yes.
Real.
This is what happens when you record in winter, folks.
We've got a storm coming anyway. So
oh, we have.
Oh shit!
Okay, now it's like the end of Terminator. There's a storm coming. Sorry, go for number 4.
So my number 4
Wednesday into Thursday. Yeah.
Oh damn. So my number 4 is wait for it. Interstellar.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
like
I get. Yeah.
it's like, I think out of all the sci-fi movies that I've seen, it's the one that kind of almost did bring tears to the eyes, And there's two moments in this movie.
Yeah. The ending,
right?
for me, definitely.
The ending for sure. Well, let's work on the ending then, and because like that, you're right, because we've all seen it, right? And it's something about the whole journey, which literally takes like 40 years. If you think from like a cosmic point of view, bending space time and stuff like that. This guy in real life has probably lived only like 10 years, but for him, it's extrapolated to 40 years because of this planet called Gargantua, which expands time. It sounds really geeky, but if you watch it, you understand.
It's an amazing piece of work.
It's amazing, yeah. So essentially, spoiler alert. Okay, give you guys a few seconds because you have to skip this.
Skip a couple more minutes, guys.
Yeah, just a couple more minutes. But it's oh man, I feel bad for spoiling, but I have to because it's brilliant. Yeah. So
I think a lot of people have seen it by now.
Right, I'm sure. Yeah, I think most of our listeners have actually.
Yeah.
But so the movie starts with his daughter Murphy. Okay. Literally being Murph is younger than the dad, naturally. Yeah. But as time passes on, he's almost technically still, slightly
he's still
oldish.
the same age,
he's
isn't
still
he?
The same age, actually.
When she last saw him.
But she's aged.
That's right.
Yeah.
But she's aged.
Double.
And he's seeing her daughter pass away, but she's older. There's something about that which you never seen in the movie.
It's what she says to him that got me.
Yeah,
like, she says, "You need to leave. You can't see your child ever dying."
That's right. That was deep. I remember watching that thinking, "Oh my god, this is Christopher Nolan does it again."
It's true, it is true,
work on the heartstrings. Yeah, absolutely.
They say that, and it is true because as a parent, that's when it really understand what they're on about.
How
much parents should never see that.
Yeah, it's just that effect that when he last saw her, she was like in her early teens, and now she's like nearly 90 something.
That's right. Yeah.
For him, it's only been a space of a week or so, isn't it? Whereas for her, it's been 70 odd years or something, isn't it? Yeah.
And I have to say, like, guys, your dad's like, when you saw that, could you relate to that? Like to Murphy and thinking, man, if this was my daughter and I was in that situation, whoa, like that's crazy.
In a way,
I think one of those decisions that you have to make. You don't want to do it, but
it's when she last sees him, she's angry at him, isn't she? So
pissed off. Yeah. She's like, I don't want to see you again.
Yeah, I feel like that,
I'm not going out. Yeah.
That bit hit me more. I don't know, it's weird. I don't know, maybe because it was more too sci-fi of a film to like channel my emotion sides on the end of it. But at the beginning, when he leaves her, I find that more emotional.
That was emotional.
Than coming back. Because technically, that's not going to really happen. Well, it can happen.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go in space and come back and my child's going to be like, I'm thinking that
correct.
logic.
I think we're a long way off that happening,
But totally. Leaving my child, that maybe that's like if time I go away for a weekend or a journey, my child is like, no, don't go. Or even go work. Like, you go work, Dad. Doesn't know. Like, oh, please don't go. You know what I'm saying?
That's
more.
it.
That's
It's
the
true.
beginning bit.
That's it in its simplest form. But exactly, it's the same emotion.
Exactly, it's the same. Yeah.
You don't want to go. But
it's funny how you say that because you can relate to that. For example, you hear of I know a patient in my pharmacy. She comes from the Philippines and she didn't see her children since they were 5 years old, and they're 21 now.
Yeah.
And it's that same sort of feeling. But she's just gone to the UK to work herself and come back, and then that's what it's like. It's brilliant, right? So that's the end scene. And then
people forget that time moves forward around, even when you're not there with them.
Exactly, it doesn't stop. That's
but when you see that family, like you said, you see the family member. Like last time you saw me, last time I saw you, yay high. What the fuck?
It's the same, exactly, right? Yeah. It's the same thing, it's the same concept that we all relate to. Yeah, there's that, and also in the middle of the movie is the bit where, long story short, and he's going crazy because he knows this bit because it's so sick.
Good call. Right? I forgot about this bit. Yeah,
absolutely. So he approaches. The spaceship approaches Gargantua. Basically, every half an hour on this planet is equivalent to 12 years or something like that.
Yeah, the more minutes
every
minute's a year gone, isn't
That's
it?
That's right. Yeah. So essentially, that's the thing. So imagine you're off this ship, right? What's 30 minutes down the shop to buy a Cornetto and you come back, right? And it's in that time, imagine, right, that you've aged by 30 years. Yeah. And all of a sudden you're watching a video montage of your kids' lives. Yeah. And it's they've gone...
from babies, from they're absolutely now grown up, married,
and showing their own kids.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that moment where the son is I've that girl in my class, I've got a girlfriend now. And then the next part of the video is, oh my God, they're getting married. Yeah. Next thing is you see him holding the kid. It's his grandson.
That's when he starts.
That's when he starts crying. But the thing is, you see that.
Doesn't he say something like you weren't there to see it or something or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. You weren't there to see it. And the thing is, see, for us, that's life, right? We go through that over 30 years. It's not so emotional because you're seeing that. You're gearing yourself up. If your children tell you, oh, look, so-and-so, we're expecting a child, 9 months, right? Yeah. But for this guy, he's been watching 2 hours of video and everything has hit him like that. Proper like that. So you can imagine... what that does to his psyche, it's emotional. I remember thinking that, watching it on a deeper level, thinking, shit, that is really tough to take, but at the same time, it's really smartly done. That's very, basically very clever. So that's been.
That's good. Cool. I forgot about that part, but
great.
They use that scene in a lot of memes, don't they? When they see him cry.
Yeah, I've completely forgot about that scene as well. Yeah,
but it's a really funny. I feel so sorry. So the guy who's on the spaceship, he's
because they come back and he's got a beard and he's great.
I remember.
Did I watch it with you? We were just laughing
because he's crippled. He thought where did you guys go? He thought he was literally just going to be a half an hour trip, right? Literally.
And she even says to him, "Well, why didn't you go back into Christ?" Because I did twice.
He literally lived his life waiting for them. I was I feel so sorry for this guy. It was so deep. But,
They open the door and he's all gone grey.
It's such a weird situation, isn't it? To them, they've been gone 25 minutes. It's you're not going to see him, but you walk out the door and I ain't going to see you for the next 30 years. It's weird, isn't it?
That's crazy.
Very good call, sir. Very good, sir.
Yes. Number 4.
My number 4 is an 80s animated film, which still gets me to this day. Talking about rewatching it, still hits me to this day. And it's a film that's directed by Don Bluth, but produced by George Lucas, The Land Before Time.
Oh, yes, Little Dinosaur.
The dinosaurs.
The little dinosaurs, If no one's ever seen the film, it's basically about these little dinosaurs where they're with their parents at the beginning of the movie. There's a massive earthquake that happens that splits them up together. And their parents says, look, we're going to the Great Valley. We'll see you there. Get yourselves there. And we'll meet you there. Essentially, the Great Valley is like what it says. It's because the home they lived in is all burnt up because the earthquake has destroyed everything. So it's going back to pure water, green grass, everything that can keep them alive. But there's one specific scene in that movie that really gets me, and it's the part when Littlefoot's mother dies. So we were talking about Bambi's mum dies. Well, for me, Littlefoot's mum dies, and there's always this connection between them. Before his mum dies, she always says things that are so heartwarming to him, she's teaching him stuff. And there's a quote she says that I can't remember what it says now. He asks her a question and she goes, "Well, some things you see with your eyes, others you see with your heart." And that's just oh wow, that's quite gripping in a way. And then she has so basically Littlefoot gets attacked by a T-Rex and his mum comes to save him. She essentially gets killed by the T-Rex in the end. But it's kind of Lion King before there was Lion King.
Yeah.
There's the realization his mother's died, and he's waiting for her to wake up. And even before she dies, she says, "Don't worry, Littlefoot. I'll always be with you. I'll be in your hearts." Rah, rah, rah. And that music that goes with it, man. I watched this recently with my daughter. It's on Netflix. And I bawled the fuck out, man, big time. I just absolutely bawled out to it. And then going back, watching it again, there's another big realization to this. Now, someone mentioned this to me, and I thought, no, I'm not going to have this. And then I thought it must happen, because obviously they make it... these group of young dinosaurs obviously make it to the Great Valley, and they find the rest of their parents. Littlefoot goes back with his grandparents, whatnot. And someone says it's there's like a hidden message to it that they all actually died at the beginning when the massive earthquake happened, and the Great Valley is their heaven. And I'm like, oh my God, it's fucking true, it's true. They're all dead. And good God, I mean, for if anyone's into, grew up in the 80s or into the 80s, they know what I'm talking about with this film. It's an absolute classic that would always, be in my heart as, one of the, those films that always made me cry.
Yeah.
It will never go away.
It's like modern day cross between the Croods and Ice Age.
Yeah. I put I put something else on my number 4, and I literally just remembered it when we were talking about animated stuff just now, and the questions like, no, I'm going to put that in now. So what was in 4 was in my honorable mention. Hopefully no one else has got to mention that. But Land Before Time, if you haven't seen it and you want a ball cry, watch that film.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
My number 4.
Good call.
What's your number 4, sir?
My number
John
4
Whiff.
is John Whiff. Yeah. That's my new one now. My number 4 is Star is Born, the latest one.
The newest one,
nice.
The newest one.
Yes.
Obviously, it's number 4. It's the 4th iteration of an original film.
Is it really? I never knew that.
Wow, really?
Yeah. But it was.
I knew it was a remake, but I didn't realise it was a remake 4 times.
No, the 4th remake. But it was Bradley Cooper's first directorial.
I'm glad you mentioned that one, John.
Yeah,
I saw that.
I mean, I've seen the originals, and so I kind of the premise is the same as the other ones. Aging star finds new star and makes it's that. But I just thought Bradley Cooper's character was very, very good in it.
Brilliant.
And Lady Gaga's character obviously very good in it.
Yeah,
and it's the chemistry between the two of them. And he's like him being the alcoholic and just can't stop. He's basically drinking himself into an early grave sort of thing.
Yep.
But he does what he sees potential in her, so he does what he can to levitate her into stardom, which is basically what all the films are. It's the same thing, but it's what he does. It's the sacrifice he makes for her toward the end of the film that really got me.
Yeah.
And
is it the bit in the shed?
In the garage.
Yeah, in the garage. Yeah, mate. Oh, mate.
But it's not. It wasn't just that bit. Mm-hmm. It's the bit with the dog outside.
Oh shit!
Do you remember that bit?
Yes. That's the bit that got everyone.
His dog was outside, and his dog kind of went to the garage door. He closed the garage door because he didn't want anyone to disturb him, because he was going to do it.
Yes.
To say, I'm going to do this now. Mm-hmm. But a part of me still thinks that, did he do it because he thought he was ruining her career? Because she
did kill a dog?
No, I mean Lady Gaga. Because Lady Gaga lied to him. She tells him,
fucking bitch.
Yeah, because I think she tells him that the recording contract has been cancelled, and then not long after that, then he kills himself. So I'm wondering, and of course the contract hadn't been cancelled, and so I'm wondering, did he do it that was his last way of getting her to stardom, or did he think that if I do stay alive, will I end up drinking myself into an early grave and she'll never achieve it because I'm just going to keep bringing her down all the time? But I just thought it was kind of like he made like that sacrifice. Right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to kill myself, and then she can rise. But it was the little bit, that part was sad enough. The fact that he'd given up on himself, and he gave her everything. But the other part that got me was the dog outside, because I used to have dogs and stuff, and it was like the dog resigns himself to the fact that he's not going to see him anymore. So he lies down outside the garage door as if he's going to go to sleep.
Sweet.
And it was just because you don't see Bradley Cooper do it.
Yeah.
You just know because the dog
just
indicates.
know.
Yeah.
You just know because he takes I think it's a belt or a rope or something.
Yeah.
So you know he's going to go and do it. And then he closes the door because he doesn't want anyone to see him.
Mm-hmm.
And that hit me. I thought, oh no, man, he's really going to do that for her.
Yeah.
And then that second jolt was seeing that poor dog outside.
So it's touching.
So that film got me.
Yeah. I think that bit was accidental as well, guys. That wasn't part of the script. Because the dog had, you know how it's a bit like method acting. They get the dog to get used to the lead characters in order to make it more, believable, right? Because dogs
get the dog an Oscar.
Yeah, absolutely, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That was just it happened and it kept on playing and that bit happened. I think the director was like, no, continue it.
Yeah,
continue rolling. Just see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah. That's what happened. It was sick.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Good choice, sir. Let's go to the number 3s.
Number 3.
Any tears popping up yet? No. John nearly did then. Go on and get out.
This one I've already talked about. It was on the soundtrack episode.
Okay.
And it was another Bollywood film, and I've spoken highly of it. And
if you want to know what it is, go back to episode.
It's actually Kabhi
Gum. Yeah,
absolutely. It's such an amazing. I think even if you put it on now, I think I'll be in tears. It's whole resolved around family, and so many I think I went in depth with it, so I'll keep it short. But it's basically about
in depth. 17 minutes it went on for.
Did it really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, so check out that episode. So it's. I guarantee I'll be in tears because it's not just one segment. There's so many bits of segments of family issues that take place and all about how separation and honor. In family, an Asian family, that happens, and it's kind of relatable because if being in the film, the family, the person moves away and lives in UK, and I live in UK, so that sort of realization and stuff, and being without your parents and being without your mum. That's what the whole film occasion is about loving your parents, sort of thing.
Yep.
So I'll keep it sweet because I will.
That was beautiful. It's the
again.
music.
What's it called again?
Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, it's
K3G.
I don't understand it as well. I have to watch it in subtitles.
Yeah.
And a film to get me to break down every time, and I through subtitles. It's phenomenal for me.
But does it only affect you because you're you married and got kids of your own, or did it affect you because it's more a family thing?
More of a family.
Right.
Yeah.
From me personally, my mum is one of the biggest, attachments in my life. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was one of the big reasons of that film. And
your mum's cool, man, because she played those games with your mum. She's cool.
I thought you was going to cuss my mum there. But, the music. And again,
how good is the music in that?
So good.
Seriously, it was in his top 5.
So good
movie soundtrack. So it must have been good.
I think even if you don't speak the language, and to be able to.
So what language is it that you can't understand it?
Hindi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to enjoy it. I'm almost like sometimes I listen to it, I was like, I understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
But I don't really. But I just get it. Like
exactly.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And again, I hit home that I'll say it again. I read the subtitles and I'm in tears.
Yeah.
Mate, what more can I say?
There's something about this movie, guys. Okay, so here's the thing about Bollywood. It's interesting because it's like you said, Gal. It's based on family. A lot of Bollywood movies is always that thing about two lovers and their parents are against it, and they're not. They refuse for them to get married. And at the end of the movie, they get together. This one is a lot to do. It's got that element in it, right, Gal? But it's more about, like you said, family, and it's something about. Obviously, in Indian and South Asian culture, but in fact, comes in every all culture, right? Like family is important. It's just different degrees.
I think more so than
that.
I'm not. I don't mean it, but more so than white families, shall we say?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I think that's what it is, because growing up in like India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and countries like that, even China. Basically, Asian countries. The foundation of family is it's so.
Oh, it's
strong.
cornerstone, man.
Absolutely. And this movie, it's something about it. Like, for example, one of my bosses that I work for, he says he watches this movie every Sunday when it's on TV.
No way.
Yeah, and he says it just touches him on a level, especially the bit where the kid gets up and he starts singing. There's that bit,
the national anthem.
There's something about that, but it just really touches you. You always have that one movie that you can just relate to, but. Like I said, it's something about Bollywood movies, and I'm surprised that I actually had one on my list as well. Now, I'll say I can mention on the honourable section, right? But,
absolutely, yeah.
But it's something about it that there's something you can relate to. It's really, really good.
It's got a multi-level, multiple moments in that movie's. It's not just a mum. There's a dad. There's a brother. There's almost like a nanny and the son that she raised.
Yeah.
But she knows it's him, but she doesn't say anything. And there's so many. There's
so many
different
levels.
Emotions, and even the wife and husband one. It's truly a unique film that captures this essence of family for me.
Totally. Good choice, sir. Good choice.
But yeah, like I said, if you want to hear the full story, the full 17 minutes where we shut up and just let Gal go. Was it part 1 or part 2? Movie soundtracks.
I think it might have been part 1.
Right, part 1. Go back and listen to that if you're ever interested in
so good. Brilliant.
17 minutes. I like how you remember that.
I remember because I had to sit through it in case I had to edit it out. Go, cool. Number 3.
Nice. Well, my number 3 is it's an animation Pixar movie. It has to be Up.
No.
Yeah.
What a film.
That's my number 1 Pixar movie all time.
Oh,
but for some reason it's not in the list. So how weird's that?
That was another one of my.
And that's right at the beginning.
That's right from the beginning.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
What a gut cruncher, eh?
Yeah, serious. I think the one scene that really did it for me was the montage. That typical.
That's it. The beginning, isn't it?
Yeah. And what played really good, so we're talking about the music, is that. Okay. So it's like that. And it sounds like, for example, they've got different scales of that.
Yeah.
But then there's moments through that life where, it's like a boy and a girl, best friends playing and stuff like that. And they have the whole aviation theme that links the whole movie together. So he's in his flying squadron hat and stuff like this. And he's just he's just like the most
the Grape Soda Club, isn't it?
Yeah, the Grape Soda Club.
Yeah,
so sweet.
He remembers.
I want that badge. Yeah, it's it's really emotional. But then there's a moment in that montage that I don't think, and anyone saw it coming.
Come on.
Fuck. Yeah, it was
go on.
whether you got kids or not.
Have you seen
that?
It,
was
damn.
And it's the moment. Spoiler, guys. Actually, you've all seen it. Everyone's seen it. I think
so. Yeah.
If no one's seen this movie, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
But it's the moment when all it took was for her head to drop, right?
Yes.
And then you knew that she lost it.
It was doesn't she sort of stump and she loses her footing at one point or something. Then the head goes down, doesn't it?
Yeah. Goes down. And
you're like, oh.
Exactly. And it's and then they're in the house and it's just there's that moment where, the first day when you come home to not having a child, you're back into your surroundings. And then the music, it's like in a really sad scale. It's the same happiness.
It's the same music, but it's slower and
it's slower,
sadder
slower
as
well.
Bum, 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 bum,
bum. Shit. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
So
that's
sad.
all it is. That's all it is. And
how weird is it that the same piece of music is different?
Yeah.
High, faster or slower, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's so clever, isn't it?
So smartly done, yeah. And it's that one monster. I think after that, you have, because you think this is a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
I hate to say, but sometimes you have these grumpy people even come into my work.
There's a reason why he's grumpy, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there's a reason to it, and it makes you think about life. There's elderly, either patients or even customers who walk through Gatwick, and you think, why are these guys so
miserable?
But then if you saw a montage of their life, it would make a lot of sense, right? And that's what it's trying to hit on.
Everyone's going through something, isn't it?
Everyone's going through something, exactly. Yeah, and that really does that,
But the whole montage before she starts getting sick is quite. in a way, true to home.
Yes.
Like when they wanted to go do exploring, didn't they? That's the whole point of it.
And
but something else keeps happening.
The waterfall was always in the distance, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
They're saving up their pennies to go, aren't they?
Yeah.
But then something happens, like a garden needs redoing, or they need to get their house renovated, or something, or whatever.
Yeah.
And their dream keeps getting smashed, doesn't it? And then and when it gets to the point, isn't it? It's like the beauties of being a homeowner.
That's
stuff,
right,
isn't it?
Because it gets funny. Because it gets to the point when he just gets hammered and breaks the bank.
It keeps breaking it, doesn't it?
Keeps on breaking it. Yeah. And then you see this jar, and it's like got they're taping it up. Has to get broken again. And man, that was probably one of the best montages I've seen, like in general. Like,
but it was so true.
Everything up.
It's so true to life, like you say.
Exactly.
Because that is how life is.
That's how life is, right?
Very few families have a goal and reach it.
Absolutely. You have your goals.
It's like you just said, you say, so right, let's start putting some money away. We'll save up. We're going to have that really, really good holiday. We're going to go here. We're going to go. And then the car breaks down. We'll get the car fixed.
Exactly.
So that's right. We'll put some more money in. We'll save it up. And then something happens.
So always something else getting in the way, isn't it?
Always something getting in the way.
Like you say, that picture, that waterfall was always is always in the distance. You never see it close.
Yeah.
And then go back. It's always
there
at the end.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Really beautiful. Yeah.
And the last shot as well always gets me. Like when the house is actually on the waterfall at the end. But the music the music's like blum, blum.
Yeah.
Blum.
Yeah.
As if to say, like, finally.
Yeah.
We're here.
We made it. Exactly. Yeah. It's brilliant.
Good afternoon. I am a wilderness explorer.
Cool.
Such a funny film.
It's so good.
But that's Pixar for you.
That is Pixar, man.
It's brilliant. I mean, even Doug is one of my favourite dogs in history.
Oh, Doug. Yeah. He's like, huh?
I'm such a good boy.
It's like he's like, hey, you okay over there? And he thinks he sees a person because there's a statue, doesn't he? And all of a sudden he goes, I can smell you. He's like, what? You can smell us? I can smell you.
And you kind of think, actually, that's probably how a dog would go.
Yeah.
Genius.
Those dog collars are amazing. They need to be on real dogs. It'd be fucking awesome.
But
I'm glad you picked it because when I picked Coco,
did you think
it would have been instead of Coco if it wasn't for that situation. So I'm glad you got it in there, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
one of my honourable mentions. Anyway.
Yeah,
100%.
it was an honourable mention. It was, number 6.
It was close.
Yeah.
It was close.
That
montage does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a movie that's affected us all, I think, isn't it? That montage. Everyone is
still
related to that. Yeah, it still does. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's
a good pick.
Good pick.
Good pick, sir.
Thank you.
My number 3 is probably my favourite movie about love of all time, and it's a musical at the same time, the same thing. And it is Baz Luhrmann's Moulin Rouge.
Moulin
not
Rouge.
seen it.
Absolutely love Moulin Rouge.
That's news to me.
Huh?
I don't even know you.
No,
I know of it, but I haven't
it's one of my
seen it.
favourites. That and Phantom of the Opera. But as a musical movie, Moulin Rouge definitely.
Yeah, Phantom of the Opera for me.
It's going to be one of those films that I will never forget. The first time I saw it, me and my sister were big on Baz Luhrmann at the time when it came out, and with these new films coming out, let's go see it. Now, this movie hits you from the start, very much like Up.
Yeah,
it has. If no one knows what it's about can-can dancers and a man falls in love with one, and anyway.
Yeah.
The start of it is very high spirits sort of music,
yeah.
And then after the logo for Moulin Rouge comes up, it stops. Boom. Music lowers, lights go down. And it all starts off sad, horrible, dark, dingy, because your main character has already died.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So straight away it hits you. It stars Hugh McGregor and Nicole Kidman. At the very start of the movie, it says there was a boy who fell in love with a girl, and the girl's dead. So from the start of the film, Nicole Kidman's dead.
Right.
But then it will go back in time and explain why he fell in love with her and how.
Okay.
So that's the future, and it goes back to the past, and it all talks about the story of how
the
Hugh
female
McGregor
character is dead.
Is dead straight away. So Hugh McGregor's a writer. He comes to Paris. He becomes a writer. Falls in love with the can-can dancer, which is like the most notorious, biggest can-can dancer, most beautiful can-can dancer, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
And it's essentially the story of how he fell in love with her, why he falls in love with her, and it's all done through music as well as very fast action-paced sort of filmography, if you will. Amazingly done. Baz Luhrmann done a fantastic job on it. But it's the very, very end of the film because whilst you're watching this film, because it's all happy, it's all jolly, it's all fantastic.
But you know it's going to be...
You forget that she's going to die. You forget that she will die at the end of the film. There's a couple of parts where I think tuberculosis kicks in.
Right.
And she coughs up blood every now and then. Because, again, you're a good hound to films, and she coughs blood. Like, oh, shit, yeah, she's going to fucking die. And then something else happens, and you forget about it. So, again, and it comes to this massive set piece at the end. Fantastic, set design and everything. It's all colourful, it's all bright, it's gorgeous to look at. It's like a Bollywood film, if you will, because essentially the play that... Have you seen it, Gokul?
I haven't seen it. I know of it.
But so essentially the play they do is about India. So it's a very extravagant looking play they do. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the show, she faints, she passes out, and you're like, oh shit, yes, she's going to die again. Yeah. And they've obviously loved one another. It's this is his... his love of his life, and she dies in his arms. Oh. And kudos to Ewan McGregor as an actor and how he did this. There is one part where he just bawls out, and it is the most convincing cry, #scream of what, because he's like, she dies. Yeah. Obviously, she dies in his arms, and he's like, no, you're not going to, no. And all of a sudden, he just stops hugging her, he looks at her, and he just goes, really gives it, and it is so convincing. I guarantee if you watched it yourselves, you would be crying. Oh, wow. Yeah. And obviously it carries on, everyone realises she's dead, and it goes back to where we started at the beginning of the movie. Right. And then you think to yourself, well, okay, he'll move on, he'll love someone else. It's just a phase he went through. It is the most saddest fucking ending ever. Nothing happens. He just carries on about his day. He always keeps remembering her. Yeah. He writes a story about her because he's a writer. At the end of the day, he essentially does his life story. And then that's it. It just ends. Oh. And then I'm like, and I'll never forget it. And this is the reason why I'll never forget it. It is the only time I've walked out that cinema where everyone in that screening was dead silent. Wow. No one said a fucking thing walking out of that, probably because they didn't like the movie, or probably because they were too emotionally wrecked at the time. Yeah. I bet. But good God, it is... hands down, just that one part where Hugh McGregor just goes, where he just lets it all out, is the most convincing cry on cinema, I would say, ever. And there's a lot of films where people cry. But hey, this, just when he lets it out, it still hits me today, man. If I know it's coming, I'm like...
it gets you.
Yeah. Hold it in. Yep. But as a movie, it's fantastic. I highly ever recommend it. If you're into musicals, please watch it. It's brilliant.
Fucking movies, man.
But do it. It's just that one part gets me every time. I sometimes have to skip it because I know it's coming. Like, Oh my God. So I'm saying, oh God, that scream, man, that cry he does.
Wow. Hugh McGregor.
Hugh McGregor, yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
No, this was after episode 1, yeah.
Episode 1,
It was episode 1. 2001 that came out. Wow. So yeah, Moulin Rouge. If you want a greatest love story ever, great music, and great acting, I highly ever recommend it.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah, I would check that out, yeah.
It might be on Disney Plus, because it's a 20th Century Fox film.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah.
Definitely going to
But don't just watch it. Don't hate it because it's a musical, because the music from it is taken from songs nowadays, like Roxanne and Elton John, and it's all done to like nowadays sort of standards.
I might have to watch that.
So it's not songs they made up on their own. No, there's like hints of Madonna in there. There's hints of like other people, 80s stuff, but made into their own version of it.
But that's like so typical Baz Luhrmann, isn't he? He does that even with The Great Gatsby.
There's a part where, because it's a big whorehouse, and obviously big men with money go to this to see women things. So and they use Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit. And they walk in going, entertain us, here we are now. No. Entertain us. Yeah.
Sick.
The way it's used is excellent. It's just, give it a go.
So cool.
I highly ever recommend it if you've never seen it yet.
I need to see that.
Yeah.
John, number 3, sir.
My number 3 is carrying on the theme of animation.
Oh, okay.
Lightyear.
Lightyear.
Yeah,
that's deep for a kid's film, that is.
Very deep.
Yeah. That's the one when he keeps going... It's like Interstellar, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Basically, Lightyear is the movie that Toy Story's Buzz Lightyear is based on.
That's right.
No, yeah, I'm thinking,
yeah, but a lot of people didn't get that.
No, but it says that at the beginning.
Yes.
So this is the story, this is the movie that Andy saw.
This is the movie that Andy saw in the cinema. And then went out and bought the Buzz Lightyear toy. So this is so in a sense it comes before Toy Story, but it's got nothing. Yeah. Anyway,
that's what it is. Yeah.
Basically, he's the Space Ranger, and their ship, they answer a distress call. And so they go to this planet to answer the distress call. And Buzz ends up crashing the ship. So then they fight off these beasts and plants and all sorts of things anyway. But he blames himself for stranding...
Not completing the mission, isn't it?
Yeah, for stranding the crew on this planet that they weren't supposed to go to.
Yep.
So they come up with this idea that they might as well build a base and they're going to use these crystals to try and get a hyperspace thingy so they can get home. But like Interstellar, every trip that he makes, he jumps forward like 3 years or something like that. So when he comes back, so his best friend, this woman, when he comes back, obviously she's older now. But he doesn't think too much of it. He just thinks, it's just obviously this time dilation thing, So, but he keeps doing it because he's striving. He's so wrapped up in that I must save the crew, or I must get them home. It's my fault they're stuck here.
Yeah.
So in a sense, he gives up his own life to provide, but
then he loses people that he knows.
Exactly. He comes back from one of the missions and he finds that his friend has died, and her daughter has taken over the commanding of the base.
Yeah,
and that really hits him. And when he goes, because she's got the same name, so when he lands, it's the same couple of people like fix his little ship, and he hasn't quite got there. So he comes back and I need more fuel, so I need to go and do it again. And they say, you can't keep doing this. Every time you go out there, you're coming back and it's so many years later and sort of, I've got to do it. I've got to keep doing it. So he said, where's Commander, I can't think, remember what her name was now. And they go, oh, she's up in her office. So he goes up to the office, and when he walks in, there's this young girl sitting there.
And it's the daughter, isn't it?
And it's the daughter, and the picture of his friend is on the wall. And she says, oh, my mum died, and she left me this message for you. And there's this little message, and he plays this message for him, telling him not to give up hope. And that really got me.
Yeah.
I just thought...
It's literally Interstellar, isn't it?
It is.
It's basically a kid's Interstellar.
I remember when that came out, because I didn't see it at the cinema, and I thought, it'd be on Disney Plus soon. Me and my daughter watch it one movie night, whatnot. And we sat and watched it, and I'm like, here we go. And I'm like... The fuck is this? This is like deep for a kids film. This is not what I expected at all.
It's got two levels.
Big time.
It's got the kid level. Oh, that's very funny. Yeah, look at that. There's Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, but then you got the toy story.
There's the adult. There's the adult story running underneath it.
I think it's a bit more of an adult film, personally.
I think it is too.
It was more mature.
Yeah,
so mature.
I mean, like I said, you've got the other Toy Story references like Emperor Zurg and whatnot sort of thing. But as a movie, it's like I literally said to myself, "This is Interstellar." If it was a kids film.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
I've only watched up until that bit.
Yeah.
I haven't. I need to go back to it.
You need to go back, because he doesn't age much.
Yeah,
but
he stays the same.
But everyone around him is aging to the point where they're old people and dying.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's literally maybe hours or weeks old.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
How many? It jumps forward every 20 years or something, doesn't it? Or something like that. I can't remember how many years now. But
he does quite a lot of jumps.
Yeah.
In a sense, like I say, even to the point, I think we're near the end of it when they get attacked by Zurg and his army and that. I think even the daughter's quite old now as well.
I can't remember, but yeah.
She's she's well grown up sort of thing as well now.
Yeah.
And that's when but those elements make you as an adult think, crikey, I mean,
time's running out.
All this time is going on, but it's not really doing much for him.
Yeah,
I don't think kids quite get that bit, No. But like you say, as an adult, there's two stories running parallel with each other, and the adults get the lower one, and the kids just get the layer on the top.
It's smart. Like, you can imagine, like, guys, you take your daughter to the cinema, you're both going to have a different experience, but you'll both like it.
Yeah. But you'll both like it for different reasons.
Yeah. Exactly. Or watching it on Disney Plus. That's why I saw it.
It's dark for a kids film.
It is. I was so hyped.
It's a good pick. I see why you picked it. Yeah.
I was so hyped to see it. And it was everything I expected it to be and more, as they say. Because I didn't want to read too much upon the story. Because I don't usually like watching. I watched the first trailer for a film and I won't watch any more. I think they spoil it now.
Yeah.
I'd rather just watch the first one and get hyped to watch that film.
That's right.
And forget the 2 or 3 or 4 more trailers that they bring out, even though there might be bits from a film that they've cut out, sort of thing. But I just want to see the initial one. And so when I saw the initial one for this, I thought, this is going to be funny.
Yeah.
Because obviously, having grown up with the Toy Story films, I wanted to see this film about Buzz Lightyear because I partly guessed in the first film, if he's buying a toy, then that toy must be based on something. So when they come up with Lightyear, they said Lightyear is the story of Buzz Lightyear, the toy that Andy bought in the store.
That's really smart.
And I knew that. And when they actually spelt it out, shall we say, I thought, well, yeah, exactly. So let's see what he did then.
Yeah.
It's like.
Is it basically like if Andy went to the cinema?
Yeah, and saw John Wick.
So he saw,
and wanted to go and buy a John Wick toy.
Right. So
it's the same thing.
Okay, so in that sense, imagine like Toy Story World right now, right? So Andy went to the cinema with his mum to watch Lightyear, which is the movie that we are watching.
Yeah.
That's really sick.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
And on Christmas Day, was it birthday? He
gets the
that's
thing.
where Emperor Zurg comes in,
So
because he saw them all in the film.
It's amazing. And funny enough, that's like, now imagine that's like us buying a Woody, right? And someone else watching a movie of us, right?
Well, how long has Toy Story been going? What,
since 1995?
20 odd years?
28
years. Yeah, exactly.
How clever to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so we're buying Woody because of the movie. And that movie was essentially like...
That could be another one now.
Yeah.
They could do a Woody movie.
Yeah.
They should. They actually should.
I think they should, because I think that would be... I'd like to see a movie, and maybe just the one.
I know the tagline for that movie
all the
as
different
well.
characters.
Yeah?
For the Woody movie, I know what the tagline
There's
is.
a snake in my boots.
No.
Yeah. No, go on.
Got wood.
But yeah.
The X-rated version.
X-rated version, yeah.
That'd be quite smart. A Pixar Western movie.
Yes.
Hasn't been done before.
Spaghetti
Western
Pixar. That would be quite good.
That could work.
That was a good shot, though.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that one, but
it's pretty good.
No, neither did I, but it's a good pick.
Yeah, nice. That's my job.
Number twos.
Ooh, we're getting there.
Number 2.
Over to you, sir.
Yeah, this film is
Another Bollywood film.
No, you recommended to me, Ant.
I recommended
quite
it
recently, and it's most recent one. I put it in because it's the most recent one that I think I lied to you. Like I did I think you bawled a little bit, and I said no, I didn't. No, but I did. Miracle in Cell Block 9.
My number 2 as well.
Is it? Boom. Yeah.
Oh wow! I haven't seen it yet. Okay.
Because
My
I
number 2 as well.
He said, "Gal, you got this."
The Korean film that is Miracle in Cell Block number 7.
That's it. I think it's a remake of another.
No, so basically that came out, and then the Turkish made a TV series out of it.
Right. Okay.
But it was originally a Korean film beforehand. But go into it, sir. Go for it. Why is your number 2?
Yeah,
I'll join you in Karam.
So basically, I think it follows a story of I don't want to say it. He's not all there. This father and daughter. Is that correct interpretation?
I don't know. You can't go without being too PC about it. Yeah. Mentally handicapped, or I don't know. He's not there.
He's not all there.
Yeah.
It's quite sweet.
He's special.
Yeah, let's
say special.
But then why is he? Oh, no, anyway, forget. I'm not going into it. He's got a nice little relationship with his daughter and stuff, and then he gets muddled up into a murder, and he gets done for it. Basically,
he didn't do it, but
but he gets done for it, and
goes to prison for it.
He goes to prison for it, and it's about how the group, the cell he's in, with these other mischiefs. Good guys.
They know he's not all there, isn't it?
Yeah. And they kind of help him and somehow sneak the daughter into the cell, and they get away with a few things.
So he can get to see her, isn't it?
See her. And I think he gets put away for longer. I think they don't ever...
So basically, he's like... he has this connection with... His daughter is the reason for living, isn't it? It's like, with everything else that's going on in the world and around him, like, he doesn't care about...
anything else.
What he's committed for, because he doesn't know. He's got the mentality of a child, isn't it? He acts very childish, isn't it? And the only thing that knows... The only thing he knows about being a dad, being a father, and that's his daughter. That's why these other men in the cell try and get his daughter in to help him get to see her.
Wow.
Later on in the movie, he gets to a point where he could be set free, basically.
Yeah.
But the man who actually committed the crime is the son of the judge. So he says like I'm not going down. You're going down for this, and beats him up essentially, and says like if you tell him it's me, I'll take your daughter away from you, whatever sort of thing. So
threatens him. Obviously, he doesn't understand that.
But he doesn't understand it.
He says he does it, and he gets done.
So he gets to go, like Gail says, goes to prison for much longer.
Oh my god!
And to a point where he'll have to be executed, isn't it?
I think so, because he doesn't. They don't get back together because I can't remember the ending, because there's that one, because they have this relationship where when he sees her, and he always says it as well, because he calls her. He goes "Appa," and then he does this sort of weird, sort of like goofy face. That's there for every time they see each other. That's what he does. That's how they
sing, isn't it?
And the last time he sees her, he does that.
Yeah,
and then he turns in, like, cries because he realised that
it's the one point in his life where he realises I'm not going to see her again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because what he's committed, he said he did it. Because if he had not, I feel like that's what he's done. He's realised that he's going to not see her, and then realised that he's made, because he said, I've made a mistake.
That's it.
Yeah. And man, because he told me you're going to cry, but mate, I was bawling.
That one scene where he realised, and he's like, it's a mistake, I didn't do it, I didn't do this, and he tries to, because it's like this part with the wall, it goes to a corner and turns a corner. And when she turns that corner, he'll never see her again. So he keeps trying to look over, he keeps getting pulled aside, and he does it wrong.
Unreal.
The guy who plays him was in Extreme Job. He played the head cop in that.
Okay.
And it was in Kingdom as well. He played a bad guy in Kingdom. Yeah. He's a fantastic actor, and to see him in this role was just so. Oh my god, it hit home. That's it's a beautiful story. I mean, there's more to it. We're only scratching the surface on the film itself.
Right.
The more that he does with this little girl, it's so, as everyone being a dad and whatnot, it just hits you home. Yeah. But that one moment where, obviously him being a special person, he was actually a normal human. That one moment when he realised, I'm not seeing my daughter again. Yeah. I'm going to die, and she's going to never see me again. I can't pull that face at her anymore and everything. Yeah. It is so heartbreaking, man.
And he says, I've made a mistake. It's like, oh, mate.
Because he stands and he goes, it's a mistake. I made a mistake. And it's like, they're thinking he made the mistake of murdering the woman, and it's not the case. I made a mistake not saying anything in court. Yeah. Oh my God. They see it as that. Oh. Good God, man. It is brutal. Touching. Absolutely touching. It's on Amazon. Please watch it, people.
And the guys in the cell are like all trying to help him as well. Like they understand he's special. I think some of them are like gangsters, and they kind of protect him, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're scratching the surface, but mate, that one bit.
Yeah, but even the chemistry with the cellmates. Yeah. Because like Gal says, they're all murderers, rapists, whatnot, but they are trying to redeem themselves by bringing his daughter to him. And
they pull it off. They bring her in, and she stays there for a week or something.
Yeah, like she goes unnoticed in a cell for fucking weeks.
It's funny, but man,
it's such a beautiful story, man. But it's so heartbreaking.
That emotional bit where like someone is realizing that you can act like a normal person crying, but to act as a special person and show emotions as that emotion. Oh mate, you would, if you don't tear up even a little bit. Oh mate,
it's like you don't have a soul. You literally don't. That one part, if you never like have an emotional effect to it, or shed a tear, or just cry, full stop, then there's something wrong with you. You are not human. Simple as
that. Yeah. Wow.
But good shout, sir.
Yeah, I had to put that because he every time after we say that's why he gets and he says it to me, and I was like, no, man, because I was like crying like last week.
Oh,
but anyway,
mate.
yeah, that's our number two. Go, cool. What's your number two?
Right, my number two is so we touched on the whole Will Smith thing, and it's Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, it is. Oh shit! Sorry, dude. I'm so sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. It had to make it.
Number two.
That's like the teaser trailer to my number two. Yeah, good.
Okay.
This movie, man. Oh my God.
I know you like this one.
Oh no, the first time I watched it, did I show it to you guys?
No, I think you were. I haven't seen it.
I remember telling you about it.
Going on about it for a while. I don't know. I knew this was going to.
You're going to hate me for this. I've never seen it.
You never seen it?
Same.
I'm so happy that you haven't seen it.
What is
like,
it?
honestly, Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Depression, isn't it?
I don't think I've seen it either.
It's it's one of those movies. I remember when it came out,
but I haven't seen it.
Right, and I watched the trailer to it, and I'm thinking this movie, it's like a Will Smith movie, which big fan of Will Smith, but he plays
another Will Smith movie.
Yeah, he plays like a vulnerable role. as this guy. And I thought, what is this movie about? Like, I didn't really have an idea of what it's about. I think it came out in 2005. And
it's with his son as well, isn't it?
It's with his son. So his role, Jaden Smith, they play son, father and son. So the chemistry is fantastic.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But long story short, it's like the pursuit of happiness. And the movie starts with an excerpt from, I think it's one of the amendments in the American thing, whatever it's called, like where, it's one of the things where it says, something, every man has a right for the pursuit of happiness, right?
Yeah.
And it just, it starts off with, Will Smith's character, and he's basically, it's long story short, like without spoiling it. Actually, yeah, well,
he's 15 years old, just do it.
All right, so basically, it's in the 70s, San Francisco. And he's doing this thing. It's kind of like a, get money quick scheme where he's selling these basically osteoporosis machines, like bone density scanners, right? Yeah. To private clinics and doctors. And that's how he makes his money, him and his wife. And the first time when something like this happens and you're making a lot of money, it's like too good to be true. They move into their first house. But then over time, this machine becomes obsolete and he's finding it very hard for doctors and hospitals to buy this machine. So naturally, their rent is overdue, doesn't have, enough money to pay for anything.
Catches up with them.
Exactly. And, it's him basically looking after the son. It affects the relationship. She has to do a double job. And it comes to a point where these guys, they're at the brink of divorce. Yeah, and, it's all about the kid. It's like keeping the kid happy and stuff like this. And as time goes on. Exactly. And then he hears about this thing about the financial district. So this is like, the yuppie 80s, this is all coming out, all about making money in the financial, department. How do I say it? In the stock markets and stuff like that. So it's based on a true story about a guy who actually went through this. And he's basically a self-made millionaire. So he starts off from the bottom in the stock market and makes his way up. But it's the journey that he gets to and the shit that he has to go through. Like,
this is a true story, wasn't it?
It's a true story. Yeah. Like on the day of his interview, he's dressed up. He's just been arrested the day before for something that wasn't his fault.
Right.
And he turns up like after spending a night in jail to the interview and everyone is all surrounded, dressed up, looking suited and booted. Yeah. And he's there looking like a tramp. And, and he goes into the interview and he somehow wins them over.
Right.
Then he gets put into what's like, what's that thing called? Do you know when you start a job, but you work for it, but you're not guaranteed the job? It's, there's a word for it? Well, it's for 6 months you're working.
Yeah, probation.
It's a bit like a probation period, right? So he's doing that and he's working his arse off because he's so disadvantaged compared to all the other guys who he's working with. So he finds a way to kind of make more calls and make more sales. And as it goes on, it's just his determination for his kid. And it gets to a point where they're even homeless. It comes to like the bottom of the barrel where they literally have to find like somewhere to sleep. And they end up sleeping in a toilet of a subway. It's that when it really hits home, you're like, oh my God. He even said, this is the worst part of my life. But then from now, everything gets better. And then as time goes on, he finally gets the job. And then the sweet bit about the movie is the moment when he gets given the job. And if you know this guy's true story, he becomes a billionaire, right? Over time, like, and what a story to start off with nothing and to have everything. But then there's a bit where it's an iconic scene where they're walking, him and he's holding on to his son's hand and they tell a little joke, it's like a knock joke or whatever. And he's walking off and then you see this random guy walking past all suited and booted. You never notice it. And it's actually him, the real guy that the movie's based on. Walks past. And when you see that, it's kind of like, it's so beautiful because it's like, here's the start of his life and this is where he is now.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's
that the beginning of the movie?
done. That's at the end.
Oh, right.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and it's so good.
That's
like,
good that they've added that bit in.
That's the thing. No one would have noticed that, but when you watch it, like even after being told, because I was told that was the end of it.
You should have done. Did
and
you know?
Just like, did you? Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, but that movie's on Disney Plus because actually on Netflix because I recently watched that.
The thing is, I knew about the film, and that's for some reason.
I knew of it.
I kind of avoided it because I thought it was going to be a sad ending.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's one of those movies where throughout it's sad, right? For me,
I like that kind of a story, though. Like you say, it's true. It's a true story.
I might want to watch it now.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, like, long story short, guys, like, I'll get really deep here. Like, something personal to me. Like, obviously, it was the worst day of my life. Something happened in my life, which was the worst, you lose someone very important to you, right? Like the most important person in your life is gone.
Yeah.
And it happened on that day. And that night I watched the movie with my dad. My dad didn't know what to say.
Wow.
Yeah, like he was silent. Obviously he's watching it, I'm watching it, but it gave me that little bit of hope.
Oh, wow.
And I tell you, that brings you through. Like it's something like that.
Wow,
I said to myself, I'm going to watch this movie because I need to watch something that's going to make me happy. And I watched that, and that just really like it.
There
kind
was
of put
more
a bit
to
of
it than
hope
you
to
thought.
it.
Yeah,
it made you
man.
think. I can't stop. I have to keep on going. That's
Yeah.
the way to do it and stuff. So that
good.
movie was sick. Yeah, that should have been my number one, but there was something else that made it.
Yeah.
in terms of the
fair
crying.
Wow, if that's
But that
the case,
was,
I'm
telling you,
intrigued,
that
man.
was it was really good. Like when you watch it, and it kind of like you think this is a movie that can give anyone hope. Because like
Is that-
and,
yeah.
we live in a time when like hope, like people just diminish hope like that.
Yeah,
Like
gotcha.
they say be realistic. Like why are you praying to God? There is no God and shit like this. But everyone has their own hope.
Yeah.
And you can't. It gives you that power. You can't describe it, but it makes you feel
Gives that little like one
that push in life. That kind of like your car's broken. It gives that push to
you
get
need
it
it.
started again. You know, and that was quite. So it was
good.
quite good. Yeah,
Oh,
so I watched
man,
that and I
that's
was
a really
like,
touching moment.
I'll have to watch
and every
that.
time you watch it, it kind of like it gives you that.
And
kind
that's
of
cell
really-
number 7. I'll have to watch them.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I want to see that now. Actually, that's really
because you've mentioned that before.
Yeah,
And I said I would watch it, and I must admit I didn't watch it, but I will.
Yeah.
I will watch it.
Asshole.
I know because I think the problem was I went to watch it and it was the Turkish version, and you said no, don't watch that one.
Yeah, it's
the
the series,
Korean,
the Turkish
it's the
version.
Korean one you want to watch, and I don't
Yes, yeah.
and I don't think I could get to the Korean one. Well, I've just checked now, and again,
it still on there?
It's not on Prime. It
Is it
is
not?
No, it's on there, but it says video not unavailable.
Ah, for fuck's sake.
man.
So I've put it.
You gotta pay for it.
I put it in my watch list anyway because I think it might have been in there and it came out because it's not available. I've put it back in again now, and I'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
I might check Netflix though. It might be on Netflix or something. So
You can always download it.
Nice. Yeah.
We'll download it. Anything else on that
Oh
stuff?
yeah. No, that's it. That's a pretty movie. You guys have to see it, and
Nice.
you haven't seen it.
I will watch it now.
I'll
Yeah.
watch it.
To be honest, I'm going to watch it now. I'm watching it.
I'm
today.
not a huge Will
For you, I'm
Smith
watching
fan,
it.
but I do like the idea of
Yeah.
these.
So my number 2's done. What's your number 2, John?
Well, your number 2's done.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mine was the same as Gal's, wasn't it?
Of course,
Nice,
yeah. My
nice.
number 2 was A Quiet Place. First one.
oh wow,
Okay.
interesting.
Made you sad.
Yeah.
Oh, I know why.
You know why.
Yes. Okay. I
Well,
just clocked.
two reasons.
Yeah.
Two-
I know the first. I know one of them
Yes.
anyway.
First one is obviously because being a dad myself,
Shit,
so the
yeah.
first one is when the little boy gets taken.
Yes.
And it's like gone. You don't see the beast take him. He's just there 1 minute and then he's gone.
He's gone.
You hear the thing run and all that's left is the little toy plane. The daughter, of course, blames herself because she put the batteries in the plane when she wasn't supposed to, or the little rocket or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rocket.
So it's then the family have to cope and manage without, but it's the dad's. The dad just takes on this responsibility because it's he's the dad, so he's got to try and keep the family together. The daughter thinks that he blames her for what's happened, and but he doesn't. He's trying to look out for. He's trying to keep them alive.
Yeah.
So that's his focus. So he loses track of.
I know the
fact
second one
that-
now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he
Now
loses.
you've said that,
so he
yeah.
loses track of. The daughter's trying to communicate. Of course,
Yes,
because she's deaf.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Wow.
And then, of course, the other second bit is when he makes the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Man, you
course,
forget
man.
that, don't you?
And you-
really
And when he
forget that
when he
bit.
says, "I have always
Yeah.
loved you,"
Yeah.
Damn.
Shit.
I forgot.
That
Amazing.
Mate.
He doesn't even say
that-
the.
That's the whole film gets wrapped up in that one scene for me.
Yeah,
That's,
And it's-
that-
and-
he's done his job.
Right.
He's done his job, and it's like,
And before I take my Ophelia to school, because she sometimes understands sign language with it,
yeah,
I always sign that to her before she goes to school.
yeah,
So sweet, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh man, you asshole, John.
John.
Fucking asshole.
That was good. That was good.
welcome,
That was
boys.
good.
But
Totally forgot.
but did you know? Come on.
right, if you ever go back to the opening scene for that film, they're in a shop
That's right,
beforehand,
yeah.
aren't they?
All the sand on the ground. Yeah.
All right. Everything is taken from that shop, but one thing. Do you know what it is?
Oh shit. No, go on. You remind.
Oh, I know this. I know
Packets
this.
of crisps.
It's a noise.
of
Yeah.
course.
Every
They make
packet of
noise.
crisp is left on the shelf because it makes noise.
Shit. Yeah.
All the Doritos, all the crisps, all the Everything. Anything to do with that sort of
So
packaging is
intelligent.
still left on the shelf.
I never gave it a second thought.
smart.
And now you say it. Wow.
Oh my god, that's really intelligent.
That's even deeper.
Yeah, they really thought about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I'm so
smart.
gutted. I didn't think about that moment.
No.
That
Oh
is,
God,
And
yeah.
see, this is the thing, because the daughter being deaf, she doesn't understand fully because she's still young.
Yeah.
She doesn't fully understand the problem is noise.
Yeah.
It's not that they're alive and they're trying to kill you. They are trying to kill you, but they can only work off of noise.
Yeah.
And because she's deaf, she doesn't quite get noise. All she knows is she's told everyone's told be quiet. That's why they have the sand trails and they work barefoot so that they're not making any noise.
Of course, yeah.
I never thought for 1 second about the crisp, but I'll have to go back and watch.
Honestly,
that
go
now.
back and watch
That's
it. You
really
notice
cool.
it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, because
pretty good.
the dad gets mad at the daughter with the batteries,
Yeah.
and she thinks she's helping by putting them back into the toy for the baby, for the child.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah, good shout, sir.
Good shout.
We're on to the final ones. Here we go.
It's number one.
The ultimate tearjerkers
Come
for
on.
us. Come on, Gal, bring it home.
my one
please
is.
don't say my number one.
It's going to be The
Please
Lion
don't say-
King.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Gets in.
Man,
I think I can top it.
that
with my
knows
one.
you know me
Yes.
well. That shows you.
I know you well, sir. That's why I was like, I kind of guessed it during the questions when you said something. I'm like, it's got to be this one. But you know what mine is. You can reveal mine when I get to my number one. All right.
Yeah.
So go. I did too. You did. You did too.
That's brilliant.
So this one again is kind of two parts to it. I think one of your questions led to it. So when I watched it, so it's Lion King, everyone knows, and for me, the moment of like the main moment of badass and also like sadness is when Mufasa comes to save Simba, but ultimately dies at the end, right? And for me, as when I was watching this kid, for everyone as a little kid, your father is your first hero,
course,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
So you're just like, yeah, but dad's coming to save me when you see that. And then when he dies, it's almost like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, you go through those emotions. On the whole, overall, the whole movie is, you know, upbeat and quite nice. But that specific moment,
exactly.
it has, you know, has always been part of me.
Yeah.
Like even like
Totally
even when
get it.
Simba comes out looking for his dad, and then he realizes he's dead, and he's like, somebody, anybody, like gives you that hopeless of like shit. What
Somebody.
Yeah, and my dad,
Anybody.
when we used to watch it, my dad used to say that as well. Like, somebody. Anyway, I was like, Dad, what the hell, man? But he hasn't done it in a long while. But and as I'm older now, I'm seeing, I've watching it with my little ones. I think I watched it and they didn't quite understand it yet. There's not at that level. I think this is before I went to see Mario. So I'm watching it and I'm like, I would do exactly what Mufasa would do.
Of course you would.
Over and over and over 1,000 times to
For
that.
your kids.
For my kids.
Yeah.
And that again, like, and then the realization not being there afterwards as well. It's like, damn, how, you know, to let go. So, you know, if I have to go now, what will happen, you know, with my kids? Like, that realization after watching all these after kids, that kind of hits even more harder than I was as a like obviously as a kid, you know, I'll see that scene and you know, he's skidding through his badass. As an older, and I'm like, yeah, I would do it, but you know, at the same time, if I die, you know, all those sort of realization comes in and it kind of gets me. Yeah. But yeah, that's one of my.
I think that's the one movie that would be,
you know, on a whole, like legit, like I think that whole film is like a life lesson for kids.
Of course it is. That's the song in the film, isn't it? Circle of Life.
Circle of Life. Yeah.
That movie.
Totally.
They're not. That's what I'm saying. They're not stupid. They put all these things in there, and I mean, like I say, there's always two stories. The kids see it and it's funny, and oh look, it's about a lion, and they don't get the actual message. It's only the
as a kid, you're like Gal said, you're like, the dad's going to get up.
Yeah.
He'll get up any minute.
Any minute now. Dad's going to get up any minute now.
And even the moments of when dad has to punish him, there's that moment where like he's gone to the hyenas and he's messed up, and he's like, Lala, Zazu, take Lala home. I need to teach my son a lesson. And then obviously he goes down like that, and then he steps on his dad's footprint, and that music that hits there, my God, every single time,
Goosebumps.
Realizes he can't be as big as his dad at the moment.
Yeah, his dad's fingerprint's massive. Oh man, that whole segment is another like it's every kid has to watch this film. If I was a head teacher, I would be like every kid after year 3 or 4 is watching this movie. If there's a rain day or whatever, that's what they're watching.
It's so
it teaches so much. I think so much about father, family, everything.
Yeah, I tell you what, like I think everyone's like got their own like. Everyone's been touched by the movie, no matter how much. There's something about that. You know, it's the bit that when that happens, when Mufasa dies, like he's alone, and you can imagine as a kid watching, thinking, imagine me alone in the world, right? And then you find a couple of friends, Timon and Pumbaa, and they give you again that hope, that kind of push to help you. They're literally like anchoring you. And it's that famous scene where they're silhouetting across the sun, and you see them getting older together, and it's so beautiful, man.
Make you forget, but then he has to go back. The moment of realize, the monkey comes in and he sees you have forgotten me. Oh my God, there's so many moments.
It doesn't matter. It's in the
past. Man, like I literally used to like act out the scenes with my brothers and song. I think that is one film that I will know every line to. Like I don't know how Ant does it. He recognises it. That is one film. You say any bit of line, I will know like bit by bit because I've watched it so many times. Wow. And it's again like I say it all the time. But this is who I am. This film is who I am today. Like this, goddamn is.
That's a big statement.
Come closer. It's a secret.
Brilliant. Such a good movie. And again, the music, Al.
Did you know?
You actually going to do it?
No, I don't know.
Have you got one?
Have you got a Did You Know?
No.
I have. So anyway.
Go on then.
Isn't there a theory now that Scar has eaten Mufasa?
Yes. Yeah.
What? Yes. Scar has eaten.
Yeah.
Right, so there's a theory. So you know the part after Gal's scene that he talks about Simba thinks he's killed Mufasa and he escapes.
Zazu singing that song.
Yeah. Scar orders hyenas to go and kill him.
Yeah.
Hyenas don't attack lions, apparently.
No, they don't.
Other lions attack other lions.
Yes.
So when Scar picks up a skull at the end, towards the end when he's like singing with Zazu.
Yeah.
He picks up a lion's skull, doesn't he? And people are like saying that's Mufasa's skull, but he ate his own brother.
Yeah. And
that's plausible, mate. Yeah. Oh my God, what?
I know, mind fucking blown, right?
Yeah. Mind fucking blown. Wow.
God.
That's insane. Do you think the music with Hans Zimmer and Elton John, can you feel that?
That specific moment, that when the handprint.
Yeah.
Go back, if you ever watch it again,
that
paw print, that music hits so hard for me every single time. And that whole scene as well, like where his dad has to teach him a lesson.
Yeah.
And then it turns into a playful, and then that's why he's that infamous look at the stars.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
But
everything the light touches.
If you ever watch
what about that shadowy place? That's Croydon, son. You must never go there.
I thought a king can do whatever he wants. There's more.
That's it,
That's funny.
Oh dear, that's incredible. Such a good show.
It's a good shout. So,
if anyone's listening, if you're a parent, make sure you watch your kids watch this with you.
Yeah.
God damn, it's a must. It's Grey Fox.
Still my favorite Disney animated.
Yeah, nothing has beaten this for me. It has. This is one movie. It's always been top of my list, and nothing has come close, like to even pushing it aside. It's always there. I'll say number one Disney film of all time for me.
Yeah. You can't say Pixar because that's a different company.
Yeah.
But
number one Disney.
Nice.
100%. Wow.
Down to you, Goku. Down to you, Chalmers. How'd you follow that?
Lion King. Now, I don't know if you guys seen this movie. Take Lion King and remove the king. It's a movie called Lion.
Yes, with Dev Patel.
Right? My goodness.
Isn't there a story with you and Dev Patel's sister?
Yes. Okay, let me quickly throw that in. Did you know? University. Did you know? Dev Patel's sister, Komal. Hi. If you are listening to this, right? Okay. Brilliant. Like she went to my university and she was a friend of my friend.
You said this in season 2.
This is so sick. Komal, you're sick. Your brother's even sicker. Okay. Yeah. And we're at our mutual friend's wedding, and I was sitting with her on a table, and it was amazing. She was telling me a lot about Dev, and in fact she told me when this movie, which is my number one, finished, and she even told me how much of an emotional roller coaster this was for him, because it was really hard to film. And you know how actors and actresses say that it's very hard to put themselves in that role because they can relate to it. Sometimes it's even therapy, like it helps them get through dark times by playing that role, but sometimes they just can't do it. And they said it took many takes in this movie, but it was a serious movie because it was based on real life, but it's like a really good happy ending. But I tell you what, guys, I went to see this in the cinema. It's the first time in my life where I bawled out in the cinema. I was crying to the point when people can hear me whimper. It was something so emotional. I don't know what happened. It just triggered something.
Is it the weird film where he goes searching for his
brother? Right. So imagine, like, okay, long story short, you know how big India is, right? So you're on a train. And
that's quite common apparently. People lose themselves.
It happens. That's the one. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So he's on a train, Netflix. And then it's like a poor kid with his brother, and they stop at a station. He falls asleep, but the kid goes out. Like this happens on Indian trains.
In the train, doesn't he?
And the train continues without the brother. So it goes overnight, and on an overnight train, it's literally like must have been about 700 miles or something like that. The other side of India, kid ends up in Calcutta, and he's lost. And then he gets taken in by like these gangs, like grooming gangs.
That's right.
And a couple from Australia come over and rescue him and adopt him.
Yeah.
And this kid ends up in like Perth, Australia. And he's like, what the hell am I doing here? He's so confused. And as time goes on, he finds out that he doesn't know where his mum is, where his kids are. But this is what really blows my mind. That right? It's incredible. But Google Maps had just come out.
Oh, okay.
And as a result of it, he remembers in his head that there's a watchtower, right?
Oh.
So he uses like Google Maps to find every watchtower in the radius of where he could have potentially been. Because he's like, I need to find my brother. I don't know if he's alive. Don't know what's happened to my mum. It's just me. And then he's at a party with his like girlfriend and his friends and stuff, and they all sit there and they all help him because there's a moment where he goes into the kitchen. So he's all having a good time in a party, and he goes to the kitchen, and it's something about, you know, if you've ever had a food item that you've bitten into and it reminds you of the past. So he has this thing called a jalebi, which is like an Indian sweet, really sticky, right? And he bites into it and he just goes really silent and he starts crying. And then he comes in and everyone's like, what's going on? So he tells them that, and they all get together and they're like, okay, let's pull out Google Maps and try and tell us what you remember.
Oh, I want to see that now.
Right. And then seriously, and he uses like, you know, the circle of radius and you zoom in and he's like, oh my God, I think this is the watchtower. So he goes there like in real life.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, I'm literally not going to spoil the ending. I think you guys,
because John's going to watch it today.
Yeah, 100%. But what I'm saying is that movie, when the ending happened, it was like, oh my God, could it be bad? Could it be good? Like whatever happens in that ending, it was fantastic. But for some reason, it was so smartly done. But at the time, I don't know what it was, but it just triggered something inside of me. And movie's never done that before. Like it really did. Like it was so emotional. It's more about like his journey, you know, like what it meant and what he went through to the ending and stuff. But that done it for me.
Wow.
So good. Seriously, if you watch it, it's like, it's so geniusly done. And then what made it even better was I found out after the movie, a friend was telling me, he was like, dude, you know, that's based on a true story.
Oh, wow,
I remember coming home that evening, I spent 3 hours reading about what actually happened and how they use Google Maps and stuff like that. And it's such an inspirational story. It's so good. Like, it's really good. So you know how people now, they use apps like Friends Reunited to find old family members and stuff like that. It's like this, but it's just, you know, some things happen by chance. And it's weird how in a country as vast as India, like a water tower, like can literally help uncover your facts, spark a memory and something like that. It's weird. It's amazing how it's done and stuff. But yeah, that was really, really deep. But at the same time, it was great. The ending was great. No, nice. Really, really good. So yeah, it was a good movie. Yeah,
good one.
Nice.
Good shout. Tears of Joy, but it was good. It's good. Yeah. Number 2.
Tears of Joy.
Tears of Joy.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so my number one is Take Out the Lion, Take Out the King, and put in
Arrival.
Huh?
Arrival.
The Arrival. Well done.
Oh, brilliant!
You know me too well, so you knew it was number one.
I remember.
Nice.
The day after he met him.
Yeah.
After he saw the film, and I was like, mate, I'm bored, and I was like, what? It's a sci-fi.
Yeah.
He said, mate, you have to watch it to understand what he'll literally come home, and I was like, it was a wreck. He was like, I was like, God damn, man, I need to watch this film. And I understood. I think I didn't have kids by then at the time.
No, not yet. No.
And I was like, damn, man, they must have hit him on another level. But I think if I watch it now, I'll be in a situation.
You have seen it, though, right?
I've seen it, but I watched it straight after just to find curious.
Yeah.
But now, as a kid, I think I understand that. But go on, take it away.
Have you seen it?
I'm not sure.
Brilliant film, by the way.
One of the best.
Denis Villeneuve, who did Dune and Blade Runner 2049.
Who's in it?
Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
I don't think I have them.
All star.
I'm thinking of a different film, but
I'll have to go into spoiler territory. By the time you watch it, you'll probably forget about it anyway. So,
it doesn't matter.
Again, if anyone doesn't know about this film, it's essentially called The Arrival. Now, The Arrival is about aliens that come to Earth, and we have to try and communicate with them. They come up with this weird, foggy language that people in our world need to, or our planet needs to try and figure out and how to talk to them. But at the very beginning of the film, it stars Amy Adams. She's this woman who specialises in translating languages from all over the world, and now she's got to do it from a different planet. Anyway, very start of the film, she has a daughter, and as his daughter grows up, she has cancer, comes in diagnosed with cancer, and dies at a very young age. She's like in her early 20s. But as it progresses, it goes through the progress of a mother with her daughter, how she brings up things like when your kids say to you, I hate you, I love you, and what you mean to me, and why you keep doing this to me, because as a parent, you're looking after them, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then the child dies. So Amy Adams is now in mourning, and all of a sudden, aliens arrive. And that's where the course of this film comes on. Then it goes into things about politics and how we would, as a species, try and take this as aliens come into our world. Do we fear them? Do we welcome them?
I think I have seen.
Do we try and attack them and stuff like this?
And it's not just one space. There's other spaceships. Right?
Yeah, there's ones all over the world.
Other countries are dealing with it
do, and they deal with it differently. One attacks them, one welcomes. It's like how we would do it as a species, and there's fearmongers out there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, end of the story. Again, spoiler territory. If you don't want to know what it is, forward it for 2 minutes. The aliens have come here to give us a gift, essentially, and it could save their world as well as potentially ours. And they give us the gift of time travel, essentially.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Which Amy Adams accepts, and she comes to learning how to use time travel. And as this film progresses, she gets with Jeremy Renner, and Jeremy Renner marries her, gets with her, whatnot.
Yeah.
And as these aliens have told us why they're here, why they're giving us this gift, he says to her, shall we have a child? Now, what we don't realise, that's the beginning of the film. So what was at the end of the movie is swapped over now.
Yeah.
So the daughter at the end, now she has a decision to make.
Yeah.
Now I know her outcome. Now I know that she will die because of time travel. Do I still create her?
Fucking hell, yeah.
And that's what the title is, The Arrival of her daughter.
Yeah.
Now, even though I know she'll die of cancer by the age of 20, do I still go through bringing her up? Do I still go through as a mother?
20 years? Do I have 20 years with her,
Exactly.
or do I not have 20
years? And good fucking God, it hit me on such an emotional level.
Wow.
When that film finished, I've never bawled my eyes out as much as I did for that film. I went home straight away. I hugged my daughter, who was probably 2 at the time, and I shit you not, I did not let go for a good 5-10 minutes. I just held her for so long as I could and just cried. And she couldn't understand, because she's again turning to why I cried. I was happy, I was sad, but this film just hit me. Just that. What would you do?
Yeah.
What would you do if you knew she was going to die? She was going to go through her life in pain, and do you want her to go through that? God, I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold it in, man, and really am. But does she deserve to go through all that?
Yeah.
What a difficult choice and to portray it in a film like that is just amazing, man.
And I didn't expect this, because the movie essentially is just set. The trailer just talks about the aliens. It's got nothing else to do with what I've just mentioned. And all of a sudden it just throws this in, that this is the situation. Yeah. And good God, it's like it's one of my favourite films of all time as well. And the fact that it still hits me on an emotional level today. It doesn't hit me so much, but it is the music that does it justice. And it's a piece of music that was in a movie called The Reader with Kate Winslet. I don't know if anyone knows the piece of music. It's in this movie, and it's also in the recent Last of Us series on episode 3 with the two gay guys. At the very end. It's that piece of music at the end of that
song?
bit. It's that song.
I knew I'd heard it before.
And it gets me every time. I could be listening to the car, listening to that. I could be at work listening to it, and I will cry. Regardless. I want it played at my funeral so everyone can cry for me. No one will cry for me at my funeral, but hey. But it's just, it goes so well with it. Denis knew how to do it, and he surprised me with that film.
Wow.
And I think for any parent out there who would have to sit through it, because again, like you guys said, it's like when you think of certain things that happen that make you cry in a film, you put yourself in that situation. What would you do? Would you make Axia go through that? See, that's what I'm saying. It's tough.
See, do you think exactly? Do you
maybe
would you have
just to
Axia,
see her,
even if it's only for a short period?
You may
of time?
you may have happy times with her, but towards the end, mate, and it will come.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty in that film, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is it.
Absolutely,
sir. Absolutely. And that's why it's my number one.
God damn it.
That's probably the most.
God damn it, Anne.
Wow.
It's tough, man. It's absolutely tough. It's gut-wrenching.
Yeah. Wow.
So we're going to move on to John. John, what's your number one, sir?
Come on, mate.
Come on. Right. You hype this up.
Go on, John.
My number one has a story behind it as to why it's my number one.
Okay.
Like I said, when we were thinking about this film comes straight to my, because it's with me on such a level, and it's Marley and Me.
Oh, yes. Yeah. With Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
See, so the story is like my, well, I'm divorced now, but my wife and we were trying to have kids, and we're talking like late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 6 miscarriages, which sort of happens in Marley and Me. So they get told, well, we lost 3 and we lost another 3. So we had our daughter in the middle. So it's a similar thing happens to them. They have a miscarriage, and we were told to, you got to take your mind off of having kids.
Yep.
So they said, go and get a dog. And the dog will take your mind off things because you will focus more on the dog.
Yeah. And
you will relax as a couple, and have a kid, which is exactly what happens in Marley and Me. So they go and get this dog. But we got 2. They got 1. They got this golden Labrador. You get him as a tiny puppy.
Is that Labrador in the film?
He's in the film, yeah.
Oh.
So they get this little... No, I didn't get a Labrador. We got 2 little white Westies.
Oh, right.
But in the film, they get a Labrador.
It's a Labrador.
They get a golden Labrador.
Just a question. Did you watch this after, or was it...
No, this
happened afterwards.
Yeah, it was afterwards,
yeah.
All
right. Yeah, I think it's 2000...
I was going to say, it's like...
Early 2000s?
Yeah, so Evelyn was born in 2004.
Okay, so it's well...
So it's round about similar time.
Yeah.
But it's what happens in it. Not quite the same as us, but we're getting there. So anyway, so we got these 2 puppies, and they get this dog, and it's the life they have with the dog. He gets up to all this mischief. They relax as a couple. They have a little kid. The kid grows up with the dog. I think they have 3 kids. They go through life. They have their struggles. The wife gives up her work. They're both quite. I think they're like reporters or something. They've both got quite good jobs. They give up the city life and they go and live in Florida. And so they have these 3 boys. I think it's 3 boys they have, and then it's like a lot of things. She gets tired of being the at-home mom, and I want more out of life. The dog doesn't help. He's funny and he's naughty and he does funny things, and they want to go on a holiday, so they get this young girl to help look after the dog while they go away. So they go off on holiday. They come back. The dog's destroyed the house, and it's all these things because he's quite a big dog.
Yeah,
and he's very boisterous and so on. So our 2 were only little. They're only like little West Highland terriers.
Yeah,
but they were like the terrible 2. Do you know what I mean? They would run all over the place. So, but the bit that got me was the life that they had with the dog and the kids growing up with the dog, and then you get toward the end and they have to put the dog down. They have to put Marley down, and we had that. We had to put both of ours down eventually, and it's just so hard when you've got your child who's grown up with that pet, and they have to go through it as well.
Yeah.
It's different if they're a baby; they're not going to get it. But my daughter was like, what? Because we got them, and I can't remember if we got them just before we had her or we got them just after we had her. Can't remember which way around it was now, but we lost one when he was 10, and through cancer, and that hit her quite hard because that's all she'd ever known. These two little white dogs. And then the girly one, we lost her when she was 18. So it's not long ago since we lost her. But yeah, so it kind of hits you. It's not just your life. It's the dog's life and it's your child's life, and they put more, they bring more into the family than you think they do. There's so many people out there. They're not animal people, and they'll think, oh, it's just a dumb animal. It's not. No, it's like those two little dogs that I had. They were like a brother and a sister to my daughter. Because we couldn't give her a proper brother and a sister, if you know what I mean. So when we were when I was putting this list together, that's the only film I could put in as my number one because it just hits me every time. And like I say, I couldn't even watch the trailer.
Wow.
Because I thought I'll watch the trailer for these five just to kind of clue myself up in my head how they all kind of ended and where the sad bits were, and that was the only one I couldn't watch. I went to put it on, and I had to turn it off.
Wow.
Because I'd have just sat there crying otherwise.
Yeah, mate.
So that's
man.
That's my little story.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Marley and Me, my number one.
I want to watch that now.
I want to watch that. It's a good film.
Well, no, you don't.
No, I do. And the Lion now.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Don't act too much, yeah.
But I want to do that.
Some good choices, guys. We held it in.
Yeah.
We didn't shed a tear. We're good. Ready to the end. Do we have any honorable mentions at all?
Toy Story 3.
Like
we said this already.
Yeah.
What else did I have?
I had a few.
Yeah.
So Green Mile.
Yeah. Of course.
do you know what? I've never seen Green Mile.
You'll love it, dude.
And I was talking to someone about this today at work, and I said, I guarantee you someone's going to have the bloody Green Mile, and I haven't seen it. And they said, what? I know, I keep saying
it was going to be my number 4, but I took it out.
I must watch it.
Steve, again, I literally put it on there because it is. I put it on there because it was the first film I cried at the cinema with, so that's why I was on there. Klaus.
Oh, Klaus, of course.
Yeah.
Klaus. Oh, my God.
Yes.
Klaus is amazing. If you've not seen Klaus, go watch
Absolutely.
Klaus.
Brilliant
I
Christmas.
think you had in your list.
Christmas film.
Christmas
film.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
A couple of already mentions Up, Lion King, Schindler's List. Braveheart is on there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Put that on there.
Yeah.
There's a part at the very end of the film where William Wallace is about to die and he sees his first wife that got killed.
Yes.
And that bit of music when he sees her and he smiles back at her because he knows he's going to be with her to the end. I was like, good God, that was touching feeling. AI, I already mentioned. American Tail. Do you remember that, John?
Yes. Little mice. Little
Mousekewitz.
Yeah.
That is,
I had
that got me as a kid, man.
Did you have Gladiator down there?
Gladiator was on there, but Gokul mentioned it.
Yeah, Gladiator, of course.
I mentioned, I'm going to mention...
Insidious. Funny enough, Insidious.
Made you cry?
Really?
Because there's a section in it where, he astral planes and he comes back and he kills the woman.
At the end. You bitch!
That made you cry.
Yeah. Well, no, but it was a sad. We think, oh my God, he's gone. What?
I'm going to mention a Korean film that I know none of you've seen. It's called Spirit's Homecoming, and it's essentially a movie set when it was during World War II and Japan invaded Korea, and it's basically about these women that went through how they were raped by Japanese soldiers, basically. And it's a very hard watch. I mean, it's like stuff happens, but it's not too like graphically. But what you have in mind, it's quite there, and it's very straight to it. And that's what I love about the film is because it's like it shows you what they went through, these women, and it's just a big realization for people because people don't never when World War II happened, no one ever mentions Korea. It's just like
it's on everybody's lips now, but
this is it. Yeah,
this is it.
So I put down there, and then I put So this is a bit of a weird choice, this one, because it's not the best film to watch. It's probably one you should maybe watch once in your life, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. And for anyone who knows me, knows why I picked this film. It's a French film called Irreversible. Anyone know of it? No. It stars Monica Bellucci and her husband Vincent Caruso. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Yeah. You know who they are it's the woman who's married to the French guy in Matrix.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Of course, yeah.
And you'll know who Vincent Caruso is. He's a very famous French actor. You'll know him when you see him.
Yeah.
And it's basically like Memento. Like it starts from the end and works backwards to the beginning. That makes sense. And the very start of the film is very dark, very dingy, and it's about Vincent Caruso is like going through this underground S&M club where he's trying to find a man, finds this guy and beats the shit out of him, practically kills him. We don't know why he's doing it.
Yeah.
Over to the next scene later, his wife gets raped by this person. And I'm not just talking like, when I say rape, like you don't see it. You fucking see this.
Oh, really?
Like, and it is, for what it is and what it's symbolising, it's probably the best piece of acting ever. Because it's like a long, red, dark tunnel this woman goes down, Monica Bellucci, and she gets raped, really bad. And you see the whole thing. I mean, you don't see penetration or anything like that at all, but you see her being raped. And it's all in one take, and it's like, for what it is, okay, it's not the best thing to watch or to look at or to see, but as acting-wise goes, it's fantastic. Anyway, the reason why it makes me cry is like he beats the shit out of her after she ends up going to hospital. And it's very weird because it goes, the other half of the movie is very opposite. So the way it's shot, the first half is very dark, very dingy, very dark colours at night time and everything. Whereas the second half is very light, very white, very innocent. So that's like you've got the dark side, you've got the devil side, and you've got the lighter side to it. And it's just essentially with her and her husband, what they do, they go about their day and how they arrange to go out in the evening. And this obviously that's how it happens in the evening. But the very last thing at the end of the film, it's very odd how it symbolises innocence at the end, and it finishes, and then literally the last thing that comes up is time is the ultimate killer.
Oh wow!
And that's it. And then you sit there and realise, fuck, that is really true.
Deep. Yeah,
like because we always say we never have time, we never have to do this, never have enough hours of the day, whatnot. But that big realisation when it said time is the ultimate killer. Even Carl Reese says it in the Terminator 2 director's cut. He says, there's not enough time in the world, Sarah. It's just, wow, that hit me hard. And I just bawled out, man.
Yeah.
Just deep. So I thought it was so close to being in the top 5. But to go into honourable mentions, I'll take it as that. That's very difficult watch, but it's one I think you should
check out.
Yeah. Check out. Don't be like, oh, he made me watch a rape film sort of thing or anything. But just from, very, very cleverly done. And it hits you hard. So, yeah.
It's been an emotional roller coaster of an episode.
Man. So, yeah, bit of a not so, nice episode to talk about, but hey, we got an episode done. We made it through, guys. We made it through.
Wow. Any more mentions?
I think, pretty much it.
That's me. I haven't got any more.
It's Boy in a Striped Pajamas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I didn't. It was not.
No one mentioned like Saving Private Ryan or anything like that. So I thought someone was going to mention that.
The pianist.
That's quite, especially that bit when at the very beginning, it's like Mama, Mama.
Right.
I was like, oh fuck, that's what.
That was more scary for me.
One film I was very nearly. It was probably my number 6.
Yeah.
Was Imitation Game.
Oh, okay. Yes. That's a brilliant choice.
I didn't think of it as a side.
Yeah.
Because what they do to him at the end is nasty, man.
The nature of obviously his sexuality and stuff, but he gave so much to the war effort, helped shorten the war.
And they fucked him over.
And then how they fucking treated him.
I still can't believe that.
He's only they've only just given him a pardon, wasn't it? Was it 4 or 5 years ago, something like that?
When the movie came out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we must remember to do that.
I think I've talked about that film in a previous one. It's amazing how isn't it funny when you always watch the war?
I still think it's Benedict's first best film.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
because you always talk about why they sacrificed because they knew like they had to kill these people because if they had not sacrificed those people, they would have pulled the plug on the.
That's what like you say, that's what people don't get.
That's basically what it is.
Because I watch them. Why do they sacrifice somebody? But then you're like, it makes sense. They had to make it look like they didn't find out.
If every time,
mind blown, a real life mind blown.
Absolutely,
I was like, fuck my arsehole.
Literally, it's crazy.
But it's true, like you say, because if every time a convoy or whatever happened, and all of a sudden there's Allied ships there, and they sunk all the Germans. It wouldn't take the Germans very long to realise. They
pulled the plug on.
They got our bloody codes.
Yeah.
So, like you say, they have to say nothing and just let people die.
Yeah,
brilliant. What a hard job.
Insane.
Good shout, guys. Good picks.
Good.
Amazing.
I think we'll leave it there, guys. Did pretty well. I did hold it in a couple times. I'll give you that. But
I saw a tear.
No, you saw one.
I did.
But yeah, guys, if you like what you listen to, follow us on
Facebook at M.T.V.B podcast.
On Instagram at M.T.V. podcast.
And on TikTok at M.T.V. podcast 197.
Guys, thank you for coming on the show.
No.
Doing another episode.
Thank you.
Enjoyed that.
Nice, thank
Hope
you.
you enjoyed it, guys.
So this is Ant-Man signing off, followed by
John Whiff, AK-47.
Grey Fox.
Go the Chalmers.
John Whiff. I still can't get past that.
What a dumb cunt.
Thank you for listening, guys. Good night.
Good night. Good night.